got comic books. They got music characters. They got the rhyming like bat. Oh yeah,
let's get groovy.
They even have Randy Watson.
Randy
from Coming to America. Who was introduced by Reverend Brown.
I mean, Barney's up on the
who
wall.
Performed for the people.
Barney's up on the wall smoking a J with Earthworm Jim.
They let Barney do that? Come on.
Barney and Earthworm Jim.
Barney looks like he's having a great time.
Oh, I love this one. Mary Jane Lane. I love it. I love it. By the way,
we'll see how many weed references we can work on.
Exactly.
There's plenty here. There's plenty here.
The next 3 hours.
By the way, I've never, it's been a good while, let's just say that, since I've been in this area. The last time I was in this area, Donaldson was straight. You go straight across the highway, and there was no turns. There was no zigzag. There was no yield here or 5 lights here. It was just a straight through over the bridge. If you haven't been on the back side or the front side or the side, I would be the front side of the airport. If you haven't been there, you may want to take a drive over there in the daytime, because at night it may just confuse you. Today was the first time that I've come this way in a very long time. And I swear I either almost got back on the interstate or was going the wrong way. They've opened that area completely up. It looks great, but if you're not used to the front side of the airport, meaning, you're going east to west, then you may want to drive over that area in the daytime, because it can be confusing. It looks beautiful, but it can be confusing. That's all I got to say.
You got to get used to it. No question.
Oh, my goodness. It was like, man, where am I going? Am I getting back on the freeway?
Yeah.
Am I going, east? What am I doing here? So, just
but
be
it's
aware.
also it's an improvement too.
Yes,
it's definitely going to help the flow of the traffic.
Absolutely.
So come on out to Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, 329 Donaldson Pike. Come see us have some delicious sandwiches ahead of tonight's Jeep Glow Party event from 8 to 11 p.m. Live music, drink specials, free raffles, trophies for the best glowed out Jeeps, and all of the good vibes right here at Chiba Hut.
Glowed out Jeeps.
From 8 to 11 p.m. So last night, we were treated to our first actual NFL game of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Dallas Cowboys 24-20. But nobody wants to talk about the game. Everybody wants to talk about the loogie seen round the world.
From close range, by the way.
Jalen Carter ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott before the first play from scrimmage. Opening kickoff, Eagles player suffers an injury. During the injury time, Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott come close together. And then Jalen Carter. And look, he apologized and acknowledged the mistake after the game, but I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
That was a loogie yucked around the world.
But here's the thing. Jalen Carter has to know that this is the first game of the NFL season. It's on NBC. There are how many cameras trained specifically on Dak Prescott at all times? And he did it right in front of the official.
Right in front of him.
Right in front of the official.
He was not. I thought Philly was the city of brotherly love.
I told you what Philadelphia actually is.
Nothing like that ever happens in Philly.
Exactly. Nothing like that happens in Philly.
As one gentleman once told me more than a decade ago, Philly is actually the city of brothers getting mugged, not the city, I should say, of brotherly love. So
yes, but he should expect a fine or a suspension.
He's not going to get suspended.
Oh yeah, he will get suspended.
He was basically suspended for last night's game. He lasted 6 seconds.
The NFL is going to make an example, and rightfully so.
I think it's going to be a hefty fine, but he's not going to miss any playing
I
time.
wonder, because Roberto Alomar is the last guy that I can remember in a major sporting event spitting on somebody. He spit on the umpire, and he got suspended.
Yeah, that's just different, man. That's a lack of respect, not only for your opponent, but that's a lack of respect for the shield. And that's how they see it. I'm just telling you what the NFL, if they don't suspend them, I would be really surprised. But when you do that, and I bet you everything that I got, they got so many phone calls on that last night. It's pathetic. They are going to suspend him.
They should.
It
I
may
think
be
they
a full
should.
game.
I think
will
they
suspend
should
it for a
suspend
game. Yeah. There's no some things, when you're in a pile, people, punch you and pull on your arm or your finger. Okay, you don't like that stuff, but it happens in piles. But when you spit on somebody, that is the ultimate show of disrespect. You don't do that. And for him to do that, it's like, dude, come on. Like, you should know better. So to me, he's going to be the guy the NFL makes an example out of, because we've seen it happen, or we've heard of it happen, and guys have gotten fines because we didn't see it, but we actually saw it this time.
I love the discovery process as it's happening, right? Because it sort of happened so fast. The slow motion replay of the loogie coming in super quick, but it's in slow motion. It's just like floating across your TV screen. And then as it's floating, it crosses the vision of whoever that dude was on the field.
Was just like, oh.
His eyeballs were like, whoa, and he was like, whoa. What do I do? Was he the equipment guy or the water boy or like?
He was a trainer. He was one of the trainers.
Yeah. So I mean, and then Mike Tirico is sitting there going, "Did he spit on him?" Like we probably noticed right before he did. He's probably getting people in his ear, and he goes, "Did he spit on him?" And then like, "Oh yeah, he spit on him." And here come all the replays from all the angles. It was unbelievable.
They got every angle possible on it, underneath it.
Here's the overhead shot.
They even had it coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, oh, they did.
The camera coming out of his mouth.
And then they had Sirianni, the coach, right? You're looking for his reaction, and you could tell in his headset, his people were saying, "Yep, he did it. Yeah. He's gonna be gone. He spit on it." Like, he did not complain, protest in the least. He was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to get by without Jalen Carter."
Everybody posted their Cosmo Kramer hit gifts last night.
Shout out to the Mets and Keith Hernandez and the second spitter, Roger McDowell.
That was one magic loogie. Now keep in mind, there was footage later of Dak Prescott also spitting. So there was thought that Jalen Carter was returning the favor, so to speak. But we have sound from Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott after the game last night explaining what happened. David, if you please.
It was a mistake that happened on my side, and it just won't happen again. Just not being able to start the game, even finish the game, just go get it better. It won't happen again.
I was just looking at him. I was right here by the two linemen, and yes, I needed to spit, and I wasn't going to spit on my lineman, and I just spit ahead. And he asked, or he goes, "You trying to spit on me?" And at that point, I felt like he was insulting me. Like, I wouldn't spit on somebody. I'm damn sure not trying to spit on you. Like, we're about to play a game.
That was Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott after the game.
It was a little bit like the hockey agitator, though. He did spit in the general vicinity.
Yes.
And then he didn't go, oh, sorry. Like, he just kind of laughed. And then as Carter approached him, Dak kind of walked up to him, like, what are you going to do? You're going to spit on me?
No, I think because he didn't hear what he was saying, he kind of smiled like, what do you say? And then as he came closer, he was like, did you try to spit on him? But you can tell Dak didn't try to spit on him.
No,
it was like one of those, spits where you're just trying to, your tongue's dry, you're trying to just get the excess stuff out. And Jalen Carter walked from his huddle to the Cowboys huddle.
Yeah.
To ask him, he wasn't like, really serious.
It's the first play of the game.
Exactly. Nobody wants to, Jalen Carter, stop. Nobody. And listen, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, and I'm not going to get on him, but you are making a reputation. You are, getting a reputation around the league because, this is the first time you've actually spit on somebody, but, you have been known to be sort of that guy that totes the line within the game. So you just got to be careful now. All eyes are going to be on him, all of them.
And it took away from what ended up being a really interesting game.
Yeah.
Like, everybody scored in the first half every time, and then in the second half, nobody could score. But it was an entertaining game. So there were some people on this show took the Cowboys.
Yep, I
took the Cowboys.
I took them, but I didn't take the points.
I took the points, and I thought they played a good game. If CeeDee Lamb had caught a couple of catchable
it's
passes,
not even that one. It's the fumble. It was the fumble at the 5-yard line. They're going in with at least a field goal to be down one, and then they approach it different, or they're up on 4 points. going into the latter part of the game. So yeah, that CD Lamb, those 2 drops, and I consider the last one's a drop too because he's that type of player that he knows that's a play he has to make. So if it was anybody else, probably not. But he's the elite of the elite receivers, so you got to make a play like that. But even those 2 plays, if they score when they're on the 5, getting ready to go in, remember it was 2nd and 20, because they just got a penalty. And then they end up getting the unsportsmanlike, hitting the defensive receiver. That pass should have been caught by Ferguson. That was a clear touchdown. He catches it, he gets it in his hand, he sees the safety coming over, and he drops it. But luckily, the safety hits him in the head. Now it's 1st and 5 at the 5, and then they fumble the next play.
And how good is Jalen Hurts? I mean, he just seems like he's in slow motion. Everything
That
he
played
sees
well
everything.
too. That played really well too.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We are live at Chiba Hut at 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville, ahead of the Jeep Glow Party presented by Topless and Toasted from 8 to 11 p.m. Coming up next, ahead of the Titans season opener against the Denver Broncos. Grow up, guys. Ahead of the Titans season opener against the Denver Broncos, Paul Kaharski of paulkaharski.com will join us as we break down the Titan season opener for the final time, because thank God there's an actual football game on Sunday. We'll do that next. 615-737-1025. Speaking of real football, the MTSU Blue Raiders will take on Wisconsin tomorrow. The kickoff is at 3 p.m., and you can catch all of the action on Totally Hits 93.3. Coverage is also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, the Nashville Sounds take on the Norfolk Tides. First pitch is at 5:35. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Sounds baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Willie Darnick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you live at Chiba Hut Toasted Subs at 329 Donaldson Pike. Pleased to be joined on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, by Paul Kuharsky of paulkuharsky.com ahead of the Titans season opener on Sunday afternoon against the Denver Broncos. PK, yesterday we discussed what we would deem a successful NFL debut for Cam Ward on Sunday. What will you be looking for from him to determine whether his first start can be considered a success?
Well, for starters, don't be the reason they lose. I think that's a simple baseline. That's the problem that they had with his predecessor. Don't be the reason they lose, and then help them compete. This is a bad matchup, obviously. They're going to have a lot of those during the year because they're not that talented in comparison to the better teams in the league. But help them compete, help them stay in a game for as long as they can, and minimize mistakes, find some plays, score some points.
A lot of eyes are on Brian Callahan as he enters season 2. Along similar lines to the question about Ward, which areas of improvement will you be watching most closely with Callahan as you evaluate his performance over the season?
Well, I wrote this week, I think it's a no-brainer for Denver or for anybody to try to take away Calvin Ridley. I mean, the best thing you've seen about the Titans in the preseason is Cam Ward to Calvin Ridley. There's clearly some chemistry there, and Ridley's taking it up a notch. I think he still might be prone to some mental errors on his own, but I don't think his problems, if he has any, are going to be quarterback related. So if Denver puts Surtain on him, or if Denver chooses to go the route where they double the best receiver and look to put Surtain on whoever they consider second most dangerous, Callahan has said, it's my job to still find a way to get Calvin involved and to get Calvin the ball. I like the sound of that. I like an offensive coordinator / head coach who's saying those kind of things, and I think he said he's taken it as a challenge. I want to see how he answers that challenge and how he makes things like that happen. And so that'll be a little bit of a defining move for me, seeing how Callahan makes that happen. And then, I think we're all excited about these secondary receivers and everything because we've been so focused on them throughout the offseason. But maybe we've elevated them too much because we're comparing them to what the Titans have had previously instead of comparing them to what 2s, 3s, and 4s look like around the league. And so, what can the Titans make out of those guys is a big question.
We'll talk with Paul Kuharsky. You can check him out at paulkuharsky.com. Now, Paul, the insertion of Io Manor as the starter, do you think that was more so because of the physicality that he brings, and Vance Jefferson just doesn't bring that physicality? Because if you're looking at the preseason, I don't think one separated themselves from the other as far as who should be the starter, but from what the Titans have been talking about, having that more physical receiver as the X receiver, they feel more comfortable with.
Well, this, Mace. This team generally, historically, has brought guys along slowly. So I like that they're not doing that here, but I hope, the outside expectations aren't too high. He had a really tough day in Atlanta where they kind of beat him up. This is in the first practice in Atlanta, where you thought he would have answered the physical tone of what A.J. Terrell and the rest of those guys were doing to him, and he didn't. Responded reasonably well. But he admits he's a guy that needs to kind of get himself to a place where he can be up for things. I would imagine he's not going to have a problem doing that for his first NFL start. But I like the idea of him getting more snaps than Jefferson. And Jefferson being more of a veteran security blanket who's there if you need him, but isn't going to get the lion's share of the snaps at that position. And then Iron Manor needs to take advantage of the opportunities they're giving to him, like all the young guys on this team. But, I think people who are rushing to start him in their fantasy league are thinking that he's going to be a 100-yard guy on game one, or maybe overly optimistic, and should let themselves be surprised if he does something big instead of counting on it. It'd be a nice surprise if he does. But I think beyond Ridley, it's probably going to be very committee-like distribution of targets and receptions.
Now, L'Jarius Sneed hadn't practiced much this week, and doubtful if he plays this weekend. Is this going to be what we continue to see from L'Jarius Sneed? And if so, these young guys that are playing in place of him, do you feel they need to make a statement this game? Because you can't go into every week hoping and praying that your number one guy at corner plays.
Yeah, he's technically questionable, not doubtful.
Okay.
So, I think they're fully expecting him to be out there starting. Now, I think most of us wonder will he finish? I just don't. I think we don't know. We don't know. We haven't seen him. He didn't play in any of the games. He didn't really practice to any major extent, doing teamwork that we got to see at any rate. He's talking and they're talking like he's the guy that they traded for. And we're about to find out. And if he's not, then the depth is tested. Darrell Baker doesn't look like the same guy he was at the end of the season or through the season last year, when I thought he did a pretty good job of stepping in. So maybe Marcus Harris, the rookie, passes him. But you'd sure like everybody Mace to be in the slot where they're supposed to be, which would put Sneed at number 1 and Brownlee at number 2, and then those other guys on the perimeter, as depth guys who maybe get a couple snaps, but not any kind of feature snaps. If Sneed's out and Brownlee's 1 and then Baker or Harris are 2, you're not as good as you need to be. And that's why Sneed is such a mystery and such a concern. But he's talking the talk. So we just need to see if the walk can match it. And I don't think anybody can tell you. I don't even know if they know, So we'll see. But when they traded for him, they said, hey, he's not going to be a big practice guy. He's going to be a guy that we get ready to go on Sunday. So they're right back at the point now where they were when they traded for him. And now we'll begin to find out.
We're talking to Paul Kuharsky, breaking down the matchup with the Broncos coming up this weekend. And Paul, you used the term, don't be the reason you lose. There's no question that Will Levis was fighting with that tag on certain weeks with the special teams. We're the reason you lost. No. Will's the reason we lost. No, you could debate it a few weeks. They overhauled everything in the special teams, basically, except the long snapper. What's your reasonable expectation on how much they could improve overall in that area?
Well, look, the last 2 special teams coaches were not good. I mean, Mike Vrabel would have fought you to the death for Craig Aukerman for whatever reason, but he was in there explaining disasters on a regular basis. And Colt Anderson last year really, at one point he said, I thought they knew what to do, which is it's not what you want to hear from a coach who's supposed to teach them what to do. So I think a lot of the upgraded confidence is John Fossil, who has been a successful special teams coach in the league. And I think we're all banking on he's got a better understanding of what these guys need to do and how to convey to them what to do. Now, they've handpicked Sly and Hecker to do it in terms of the legs. I think maybe there's a less good leg in the leg department and maybe an upgrade in the coverage and teams departments. But we'll see. Once again, they don't have a reliable, proven punt returner, and they've got a rookie back there. And it just doesn't seem that hard to me to get a guy who can field punts and get you 10 yards. But maybe I'm naive to what that's become in the league. I haven't taken
But we've watched,
look.
Paul, we've watched meltdowns by rookies in particular. And so were you curious as to, or were you surprised at all, the faith they're showing in Jim Dike in week 1? Because I think we all were penciling in the veteran Prochet to start in that spot.
I think maybe Spears going down screws up like the insurance policy there, and that Spears is the quote-unquote veteran that you could put back there. Prochet just screws up the wide receiver numbers too much. So if you put Prochet back there, then you've got to deactivate DK from the offense. So let's watch how many snaps DK gets on offense and if that's worth the quote-unquote trade-off. But he's got to start mistake-free, kind of what we're talking about with Ward. Don't be the reason you lose the game. If they lose the game because of, if it's a big contributing factor that they make big special teams errors in the return game, I mean, it's going to be a beating your head against the wall situation. So we'll see what kind of mettle the kids got. But again, then I've got a huge objection to this thing where they were playing some kind of seniority game and giving snaps to Jaquan Jackson, who never had a chance to make this team, and letting him field punts in the preseason, which was ridiculous.
Paul, looking at Bo Nix, a lot of the numbers, it's a really intriguing matchup to see if Denard Wilson's defense can take a step forward. I've heard him repeatedly talk about how he feels like he's going to be better in his second year. He's on a better same page and understanding with his assistants. They made, not sexy pickups, but they feel like they've got better people to fit what they're doing. And they're facing a quarterback in Bo Nix that was way, way more effective when he was not put under pressure. When he was not behind in games, he carved up bad defenses. He was way better when it wasn't obvious pass situations. So I'm really looking to see if they can make progress and create more obvious passing situations where Nix, maybe could be exploited.
I don't know, man. I just feel like I think the Titans should be better against the run. I mean, they're certainly better on the edge, right? With Draymond Jones, you would think he can play better on the edge. Femi Oladejo hasn't shown us much as a pass rusher, but he should be better on the edge. I think they're sounder as a run defense. But this idea that you want to force a team to pass against you just scares me to death for the Titans. You get them into 2nd and 8 so that they'll throw, and I don't have any faith in their ability to rush the passer, and I don't know if it's the greatest scenario in the world. I'm not saying you want them to be able to run, but I'd rather cat and mouse with them to toy with them to get them to try to run against you a little bit more than to think that you're going to be able to rush. And you're going to have to bring numbers to rush, and then I don't know how reliable, especially if Snead's not Snead, you're going to be in coverage. I like the safeties a lot, but that corner depth is questionable.
Agreed. Are you worried about Sweat? They mentioned he's lost weight. I don't know how much detail you got beyond what they said at the press conference, Paul, but missing that much time, I would have to worry about his ability or availability for more than a few snaps, I would think, early.
Yeah, I think it's really one of the biggest underplayed storylines by all of us. I mean, when guys miss significant chunks of camp, it almost always bites them in the butt. And he missed a big chunk of camp he had the abs early, missed the first 3 days of training camp with an ab problem, and then the tonsillectomy hit him for a good while and cost him the better part of 2 weeks. That's a lot of time, especially for a big man. And now he's gone to altitude, and I wouldn't be surprised to see his snaps down and to see Shy Tuttle and James Lynch and some of the other backup linemen be called on a lot here. And hopefully it doesn't have a big bearing on his season. But if we look back late in the season and say, boy, T'Vondre Sweat missing a big chunk of camp really set him back, I won't be surprised by that storyline, and I'd hate if that's the case. But it's often the case.
Paul Kaharski of paulkaharski.com has been our guest on D. Mays, Vingan, and Donick. Yes, Paul.
Real quick, I just want to tell Will, I came out of that memorial service for Aaron, and I've thought about it every day since, just telling myself, I haven't done it yet, but I think it's significant that I'm telling myself I need to live a bigger life. I thought that was just a tremendous hour and very impactful, and it's really stuck with me, and I wanted to tell you that.
Well, thank you for saying that, Paul. It was beyond what we knew it was going to be good, but it just we were thrilled with the reaction of everybody. It was awesome. I mean, and you're not the first person that has complimented the overall program. It was awesome, but she deserved it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the time, Paul. We look forward to your coverage this weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Paul Kaharski of paulkaharski.com on the program. You, of course, can catch him every week in the mornings with Robbie and Rexroad. 615-737-1025. We will react to what Paul had to say. You can as well at 615-737-1025. We are live at Chiba Hut Toasted Subs at 329 Donaldson Pike, ahead of Chiba Hut's Jeep Glow Party tonight from 8 to 11 o'clock. Come on out, live music, drink specials, free raffles, trophies for the best glowed out Jeeps, and all the good vibes at Chiba Hut, located at 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 102.5 The Game.
like Cam to Calvin might be your best thing, certainly, or your most explosive thing. If a defense is looking at that, defense as good as the Broncos certainly, and is hell bent on taking that away, that leaves you with what's next. How confident? Not confident's not the right word, but you envisioning that's a potpourri as the alternative to that, or does somebody have to emerge as the next guy? How's that work?
Yeah, I think someone has. I mean, to sit here and say that we have they have to emerge. Someone's got to step up and make the plays. I feel good about the group of guys we have going into Denver. I like the work that we put in, but certainly we got some unproven players and we got some young players that have done it, that haven't done it yet. But I like where those guys are at, and we're going to use anybody that's up on game day. We're using. They're all going to have roles. We're going to make sure that they're in the right spots to have success. And again, we're a team that's in prove it mode right now, and all the things that we feel good about, we're going to have to go do and show it on game day, regardless of how good I feel about the process leading up to it. But I'm confident in the group we have, and I'm excited to go do it, and we just got to go do it.
That was Brian Callahan ahead of the Titans season opener against the Denver Broncos. Paul Kaharski there asking the question. We just got off the phone with Paul Kaharski from paulkaharski.com, and he brought up the connection between Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley.
By the way, DJ D-Mace today. D-Mace
You
is,
like that?
Yeah, I like. That's a good one.
Okay.
A little 90s right there.
Yeah. Hey, man, my music palette is going to be across. Y'all going to see.
But that's what we want. We want cutting edge.
How I end it, it's going to be poetic. It's going to be poetic. Okay?
Very
The
nice.
last song is
nice.
going to be poetic.
I never took you as a Smash Mouth fan.
I like them.
But nevertheless, the Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley connection, it looked strong based on what we saw in training camp. And now we get to see it for real. Of course, the issue on the other side is that the Denver Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL, led by the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain, at cornerback, who is going to be shadowing Calvin Ridley. So I have a question for each of you about this ahead of the matchup. I'll start with Derek. How can Brian Callahan scheme Calvin Ridley open against Patrick Surtain and the rest of the Broncos secondary?
You got to move him. That's the only way the worst thing you can do for your number one receiver is to keep him in one spot. You line up as the Z and we keep you to that side. We don't move you. We don't do anything else. Now, the defense has the bead on you. They know exactly. They can cut off, half of the field if they need to. That's if you are stationary every play. The Titans seem like they're going to put Calvin Ridley in more sets where he's motioning. Look at all the number one receivers in the league. They do a lot of motion. Not a lot of those guys stand still, because if you stand still, you're basically saying, hey,
That get too caught up with that maybe Cam Ward himself has too much on his plate. Maybe he gets too caught up in, okay, where's Calvin? We're going to move Calvin. Like, how do you balance that? This is the guy's first game.
yeah,
right?
it is. But what you do is, because a lot of times he's really going to be the move guy. It's not going to be the X. It may be, the H, which is the slot guy. He moves typically. But this is what offenses do. And I think, look back at his film when he was in Miami. They move Restrepo. Why? To try to get coverage off of him. So he has to be used to that type of offense where your number one guy is constantly moving, because it's better for him. What it allows is, as much disguising the defenses try to do, and they try not to show their hand until the ball is high, if you move your guy, defenses, they got to declare something. They got to show something. Is it man-to-man? Is it zone? What are you doing? Okay, so that allows one, the Cam to get a better idea of what they're doing defensively, and then two, it gives Cam the ability to hit Calvin Ridley on the move, because Calvin Ridley's standing still and a guy pressing him. He doesn't do well against press. Every guy has a weakness. His weakness is press. So if I know that, why am I going to keep him stationary? I need to move him. And I'm sure that Cam Ward understands that.
Did you like playing against a team that had one guy following you all over the field, or like did you? If they do that with Surtain, I can see them saying, "Hey, we don't need double or triple coverage on Ridley. Surtain is better than Calvin Ridley. He'll take that, and then we'll use our other 10 guys to cover the rest of the guys." But did you like? What do you do when a guy's doing that?
You ask the coach to move you.
Yeah.
You ask the coach to send you in motion, do some stacks, do some bunches to get that guy off of you. Because again, you just don't want to be stationary, especially with the reigning defensive player of the year guarding you. You don't want to be a guy that's just sitting on the line of scrimmage each and every time. So when I come out of the huddle, he comes out of the huddle. He knows exactly where I'm at. No.
Near misses or off-target passes were thrown his way. The NFL said he had 1,074 unrealized air yards, which are air yards on incomplete passes, the most in the NFL, and he was the only player to eclipse 1,000, and he still ended up with 1,000 yards. It's pretty remarkable. So I'm sure he's feeling great about the fact that he has Cam Ward throwing him the football now. The other question I have, we'll start with Willie. Derek, you can answer as well. Which pass catcher must step up if Calvin Ridley is neutralized by Patrick Surtain and the Broncos defense?
D-Mace, I want you to translate what I heard from Holtz, the offensive coordinator, when he was talking about how Denver likes to play. For lack of, if I understood him correctly, he was saying something like a matchup zone. And so what generally is open there? I do wonder about tight ends in this game. Like you would think that if you can get some safer throws, some easy throws in there for Ward, to me that would be what you're looking for a young quarterback. High percentage passes.
Because what they're doing is, if they're going to play match zone, they're typically they got double, two safeties up high, because that's your zone look. The man look is the man underneath. So whether it's two man or some variation of two safeties being high but man underneath, or they may just roll one safety up high and have some spies and still play man to man. Those are the things that defenses are going to do. And you're right, that's when the tight end comes in play. I think either the middle of the field or the tight ends, or both. The tight ends going down the middle of the field. That's how you beat defenses like that, because there's going to be a hole even in these matchup zones, man, because it's a blend of man concept and a zone concept. So even in those, there's some holes, and typically down the middle of the field, especially when they're playing too high, is where you're going to get them. And at 6'6", 6'7", Gunnar Helm, he's ideal for a situation like that.
So that seals my answer. I do think the tight ends would be where I would start. I don't think you can go in this game thinking a rookie is going to be the star of the game. Like, if they contribute, great. But I would, like, Chigakonkwo was the second most targeted receiver. They don't have Tajay Spears to be sort of the guy in space. So Pollard, we'll see what they do with him as a receiver out of the backfield when they need to throw. Of course, it would help if they have a good running game to start with. But I'm really looking at the tight ends. Okonkwo, this is a great opportunity for him. This is a contract year for him. He needs a good year. And I'm really curious about the usage. Do they use two tight ends a lot to try to help things out?
Well, Denver, if I read it correctly, they were one of the worst teams in covering backs out of the backfield. So that could be something that the Titans exploit. Now, they were hoping heading into the first game they will have Tajay Spears, because if you're going against a team that has an issue at covering running backs, well, your best pass catcher at that position, you want him out there on the field. But unfortunately for them, Spears has a high ankle sprain. So now will they use Pollard more? Look for them to potentially use those tight ends as fullbacks, to get them out and to get some matchup problems with Denver's linebackers. But look for these if they find a way to neutralize the connection between Cam Ward and Ridley. Look for him to go to those tight ends because I think those tight ends are going to be matchup problems and those running backs for Denver.
I would love to see Tyler Lockett be involved.
I want him to be involved. I think he's going to be involved, but I'm not sure. This may not be the game where you see the best of Tyler Lockett. Then again, it may be, but I just think I believe a lot is going to be funneled to the tight ends or the running backs, and they're going to try to take the receivers out of it.
I'm just hoping that the Titans can get something out of Tyler Lockett because they got nothing out of Tyler Boyd in that same role a year ago. Yeah. And I know that Tyler Lockett isn't the Tyler Lockett we remember from Seattle. He's an older player now, and I know he's going to be a secondary player in this offense, but I would like to see that position more utilized than it was a year ago.
You're right. But here's the problem with last year. There was nothing wrong with Tyler Boyd, I don't think. There was nothing. I think he was who he was. We knew it coming in. I thought he would have a better year because one, I thought Calvin Ridley teams would try to take him away. And in Brian Callahan's offense, I thought the third receiver would benefit from that. But he didn't. And it wasn't necessarily Tyler Boyd's fault. It was the quarterback. I'm telling you, if Tyler Boyd's in this offense, I do believe he's more of I do believe he fits what they want to do in this offense. Maybe they didn't want to pay for it. Maybe he didn't want to be here. But I just thought with a quarterback like Cam Ward, Tyler Boyd would have benefited more from Cam Ward than he did from Will Levis.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Which Titans pass catcher must step up if the Broncos neutralize Calvin Ridley? Let us know. 615-737-1025. A couple of news and notes for you here. The Commodores travel to Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech tomorrow. Pregame is at 5 p.m. and kickoff is at 6:30. Vanderbilt football is brought to you by Gary Force Acura and Smoky Mountain Tops. Also, if you're out watching the NFL games this Sunday, come out to Twin Peaks in Madison. Big Joe and Chris Sanders will be hosting the game's pregame show from 1 to 3 prior to the Titans season opener against the Broncos. The pregame show is brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment, Old National Bank, Circus Sportsbook Kentucky, and Tennessee Brew Works.
Happy Friday, everyone. This is Derek Mason here. And if you've injured yourself in a motorcycle accident, go to lawtigers.com for your free case evaluation. Even if your accident was months ago, you have nothing to lose by calling Law Tigers. Insurance companies want to pay out as little as possible or, frankly, nothing at all. Law Tigers make sure you get the compensation you deserve and doesn't get paid until your case has been settled. Look, they understand how much your bike gear is worth to you, so they will help you get it all repaired or better yet replaced. Law Tigers is the resource the motorcycle community turns to when in need. So whether it's to support you at an event or if they see you broken down on the other side of the road, on the side of the road with Law Tigers, you'll never ride alone. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is powered by Freeman and Houston, and you can find them in Nashville located at 2126 21st Ave South. Law Tigers, 10 motorcycle lawyers.
It's just what other teams have done, dumping salary. Team Ace Finnegan and Donick 1025 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Bingen, and David Janes here with you. Willie, Derek, and I are live out at Chiba Hut, 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville, ahead of the Jeep Glow Party event tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. Live music, drink specials, free raffles, trophies for the best glowed-out Jeeps, and all the good vibes here at Chiba Hut, located at 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville.
I'm going big thumbs up for the Chiba Hut subs. I mean, D-Mace has polished one off.
Yeah, that was so good.
I had the Italian. I've already forgotten what they have a name for it, but it is big time. It took me about 4 minutes to nail the whole thing.
Had a Jamaican red.
I had that as well.
It was very good. Very good.
Highly recommend
Yes,
Chiba
come
Hut
on by.
subs.
Donaldson Pike and Emory Lane is where we are. They got a great patio area, high ceilings, a lot of artwork. They got games on. This is the spot, man.
Yeah.
We got the glow party tonight. I don't even know what a glow party is, but I want to know. I want to be a part of it. I want to glow.
We can make that happen for you.
I'm in the right place, apparently.
I'm sure. So let's focus on the quarterback on the other side of the matchup on Sunday between the Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos. I think we can all agree that at the time, the Broncos' decision to draft Bo Nix was a bold move. Yes?
Yes.
And he exceeded expectations last season, especially down the stretch of the season for the Denver Broncos. And I am intrigued by this matchup to sort of compare and contrast Bo Nix in year 2, Cam Ward in year 1. That's sort of a matchup within the matchup that I'm going to be watching. And Jeffrey Simmons had a quote yesterday that made it all the way to Denver. So Jeffrey Simmons, according to our friend Teron Davenport, said, quote, if Bo Nix's first read is not there, he's going to take off running with the football. And, David, if you will, this got back to Sean Payton, head coach of the Denver Broncos. A Denver reporter asked Sean Payton for his response to Jeffrey Simmons on Bo Nix. This is what Sean Payton had to say.
Sorry, won't let me play. So give me a minute.
Okay, we'll get to it. But, Willie, I know that you came prepared with some information that you think is interesting about Bo Nix and how it relates to this week's matchup.
I thought that this was, on the FTN Almanac, which I think does a really good job of kind of giving you the footprint on every team. Denver had not made the playoffs in 4 or 5 years, right? And Sean Payton in this press conference we're about to play you a clip from, he was talking about how much progress he thinks his team has made in 2 years. He's come a long way in 2 years, but they're kind of a sexy pick right now. They believe they can be a contender in the AFC. And Bo Nix deserves props for doing unexpectedly well last year for a rookie. But when you look at the numbers, they're not – there's a little bit to be desired in what he actually accomplished last year. We made this point on the show. The Broncos did a great job last year. They made the playoffs because they beat up on bad teams. They beat the teams that they were better than. And they didn't really beat anybody that good. Their best win, arguably, was their first win of the year against Tampa. They didn't beat the heavyweights, except for the Chiefs, the last game of the season. But that was the JV. That was Carson Wentz and the Chiefs. Right? That's like going to, a concert to see, your favorite group, Chicago, but the lead singer, it's not Peter Cetera. It's Adam Vingan is singing for Chicago tonight. We're like, wait a minute, that's not Chicago. You know what I mean? Like they crushed the Chiefs. That game was an absolute joke.
That's Cargo, not Chicago.
That was a scrimmage. Like the Chiefs had no interest. They looking at their watches, going, "Is this game over yet? So we can get ready for the playoffs." So things fell right for the Broncos, and it also played into Nix's stats. Bo Nix last year, according to FTN, virtually all of his production came in a couple situations. Success against bad defenses and or favorable down and distance. In other words, if he was in obvious pass situations and or against good defenses, he still leaves a lot to be desired. So, the Titans are a bad team. Are they a bad defense? But this is a question, right? Can they exploit his weaknesses? Bo Nix was also much more effective as a passer when his team was in the lead and they didn't have to play catch up. And they were able to do that because why? They have a very good defense, etc. He also ran, and this is, I think, where we're going to go with the Jeffrey Simmons observation. He ran surprisingly effectively. People can remember him playing at Auburn, and if you stayed up late, you watched some of his games at Oregon where he made a nice jump. We knew he was mobile, but I didn't see him as a guy that was going to come in and run the ball well. But he was probably his running numbers enhanced his overall season. So I think all this to say, this is going to be a great test of can the Titans put the Broncos in obvious pass situations. I disagree with what PK told us earlier. He was like, I don't know if you want them in obvious pass situations because the Titans on paper don't rush the passer very well, and they have some questionable people in the secondary. I get the theory, but I will take D-Mace all day. I know you're going to pass. I'll take that matchup. So I want to put Bo Nix in obvious pass situations, and I will take my chances.
Before Derek responds, again, Jeffrey Simmons said yesterday that if Bo Nix's first read isn't there, he's going to take off running with the football. That quote got back to Sean Payton in Denver. Here's what Sean Payton had to say.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons said Titans are preparing for Bo, a guy that maybe if the first read's not there, he'll get out, use his legs. As a coaching staff, are you guys preparing for the fact that, maybe opposing teams are not going to be surprised anymore by the fact that Bo can run? Has that been a part of the process?
We've talked about this before, and I hear the discussion a lot relative to now that they've had a I don't know. I think when you get to week 10 and week 11, you've had everything, and so some of the things happen spontaneously. I would disagree that he's just a first read. I know for a fact that that's not the case. Now, is he confident in his movement skills? Yeah. And we'll get a chance to see him on Sunday.
That was Sean Payton responding to Jeffrey Simmons. What did you think about that, Derek?
That tells me that, there's some truth to what he was saying. Because as a team, you want to self-scout. You want to do some self-scouting, especially at the end of the year. And I'm sure they saw what, Jeffrey Simmons was talking about, and they want to try to fix that or rectify it. There's a reason why he didn't take as many sacks, because he chose to run. When you run, you don't take sacks.
He also played behind the best offensive line in the NFL.
And they returned all 5 of those guys back from last year. So they're going to be a good offensive line, you assume.
To Willie's point about it being a good test, we've talked a lot about the pass rush. This may be the final exam, right? Week 1, they get the hardest test against the team that allowed the fewest sacks. I believe it was the fewest sacks, the fewest pressures, definitely. Bo Nix had the lowest quarterback pressure rate in the league last year. And some of that has to do with the fact that he is comfortable getting out of the pocket. He recorded the most passing attempts in the NFL outside of the pocket last year. So he's comfortable doing that.
Sean Payton saw this. We hit on this for a day when we were trying to go through how Cam Ward comes into the league, what does he do well, and where the Titans went horribly wrong in the last couple of years. And we used Sean Payton's mantra, and that is sacks are a quarterback stat and not an offensive line stat. So that is maybe the best thing that Nix does, is doesn't get sacked, doesn't take sacks, and he excelled in that in college. That's what their scouts saw, because as you said, Adam, it was a surprising success story. But they weren't as surprised. They thought that skill set would translate, and it did in the first year. But that being said, you don't necessarily have to get a lot of sacks to be effective. To me, how many obvious 3rd and longs can they get the Broncos in? That's what I really want to see. It's not going to be sacks. It's going to be, can you put yourself in a position to get some stops by making it 3rd and 8 instead of 3rd and 2?
Well, it's just getting pressure on the quarterback. That's all. Um, you know, a lot of games you may not see a bunch of sacks, but if I can get pressures, that sometimes works just as good as a sack because me getting pressure on the quarterback, affects him throwing the football down the field and it throws off the rhythm. So even if the Titans don't get any sacks, pressure for me will be just as good depending on what they're doing in the back end. So, yeah, you want to make a team. Every team in the NFL wants to make a team one-dimensional, whether they feel you have a weak pass offense and they want to, stop you from running the ball because they know you can't pass it, or they're just trying to, get you to be one-dimensional period where they're stopping the pass, like Cincinnati. They love to pass the ball. Well, you try to get teams like that to run the football, because their strength is passing. So, because you figure I can stop the run without 4 or 5 guys up front, but the back end is where we need to pay attention to. So, if they can make Denver one-dimensional, I think it's better for them. I think, Denard Wilson, if Snead stays healthy, if he plays the whole game, he benefits from making this a one-dimensional game, forcing a second-year quarterback with really only one option at the receiver, and that's Cortland Sutton. Really with one option. You're forcing him to pass now. That's something Sean Payton doesn't want. He want to be able to run the football. They ran the football effectively last year. They had the best line, and all 5 of those guys are returning back this season. So he wants to run the football. So you got to force him not to run the football and throw it because they know they don't have the weapons like, say, not Kansas City, but a Cincinnati or a Baltimore, where I can go to 2 or 3 guys. You want to stop him from running the ball? That's fine. I just throw it across the board. The Denver Broncos are not that type of team as we sit.
Willie, you brought up the Sean Payton formula that Seth Wickersham detailed in his book. And Sean Payton, this formula, he looked at the rate of negative plays against a quarterback's total dropbacks. So he took the percentage of sacks, fumbles, interceptions, and then added them together for the average. The lower the score, the better, like a golf score. And Wickersham wrote that Knicks tested better in that formula than any other big-time quarterback prospect in recent years. He mentioned Caleb Williams. He mentioned Jaden Daniels. He went as far back as Patrick Mahomes. That was the thing that sold Sean Payton on Bo Nix, is that he's able to avoid those negative plays. He doesn't get sacked. He doesn't turn the ball over. And that's one thing I'm going to be watching on Sunday because we hope that that's what Cam Ward becomes, right?
Yes.
So I will be watching Bo Nix, how he does it, saying, hey, I wonder if Cam Ward can develop into that.
Right. And let's not forget, they beat up on bad teams. So Bo Nix was not a world beater. It was a nice rookie year, and they put him in a good position. They played to his strengths. They were able to, because they played good defense, they stayed in games. They weren't playing catch-up, and they didn't get into bad behind-the-chains kind of situations, second and long, third and long. So that will be the key for the Titans defense, I think, is can they take him out of the comfort zone in some form?
Neely on our text line, noticing the decor in here, says, I went to Arizona State in 1998, and that's when they opened the very first Chiba Hut. We all thought they were crazy at the time. They even hung a gigantic joint advertising the opening down from the pedestrian bridge on campus. Look how far they've come.
Absolutely.
Yep, there's no secret in here. They know, what this place is about.
Yes.
When you come in.
Yes.
And it's got great food. And just look at the walls, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's a good place to come if you're in a certain state of mind. Of course.
A chill, a mellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have a designated driver is what I'm saying. 615.
They have the Ryman on a painting here is like floating in outer space on rock. It is a trip.
615-737-1025. Coming up next, Chad Withrow from Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow on Outkick will join 737-1025. Michigan takes on Oklahoma tomorrow at 6:30 in our college football game of the week on Sports Talk 830, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circus Sportsbook Kentucky. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and at theGameNashville.com. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 102.5 the game.
Good choice by D-Mace right here.
A little crisscross.
Yes.
Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. Be listening at the end of this segment. I have a pair of tickets to give away to see Nelly at the Ascend Amphitheater on Tuesday, September 16th. So be listening for the cue to call as soon as we are done with our next guest. Pleased to be joined on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, by Chad Withrow of Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow on Outkick. Chad, of course, the Titans open the regular season Sunday at Denver. The line on this game has been shifting over the past couple of days between 7.5 and 8.5 for Denver. At the moment, it's 8.5. How do you envision this game unfolding on Sunday?
You know, I really think, especially in opening games, it's always kind of smart money, much like the Cowboys last night. If it's a big spread, go ahead and take the underdog to cover. I think it's going to be a close game. You know, if I had to predict, I'd say the Broncos win by a touchdown, but you have the Titans cover that spread. But look, I'm not picturing a scenario where this is going to be disastrous for the Titans or anything like that. I think they're going to surprise in how competitive they are in this game, but I also think they're ultimately going to fall up short. Dre Greenlaw being out, I know officially now for the Broncos, certainly helps the Titans' chances. But, yeah, I think the Titans are competitive in this opening game, but they're going to come up short.
Chad, last night on social media, you had some strong words for Jalen Carter after he was ejected for spitting on/near Dak Prescott. You said, quote, Jalen Carter should be suspended multiple games for being such a dumbass. He won't, but that's what should happen. Derek agrees with you. I disagree. I don't think he's going to be suspended. Please share more of your feelings on what happened last night.
Yeah, I believe in a dumbass tax, right? Like, I think if you do something stupid that hurts your team, you should pay the tax for it. And I just thought it was just, look, first off, I mean, I don't have to sit here and explain, like, how disrespectful it is as a human being to spit on somebody else to begin with. You know, we had a guy in town in Pac-Man Jones, and that was his go-to move, was to spit on people whenever he disagreed with them. And he's not known as the most respectful person to ever don a Titan jersey or an NFL jersey. So I thought it was really classless of Jalen Carter. Look, he admitted it after the game, said it was stupid, and he apologized for it, and there's no hiding from it. But I think for the NFL, guys, for a league that spent all offseason talking about how they wanted to be as attractive to young kids as possible, and they want to cut out taunting, and they want to cut out any type of celebration that looks like it involves some sort of weapon or anything like that. If they really want to send a message, they suspend Jalen Carter for multiple games. Now, if you look through the history of spitters, you know, Bill Romanowski spat on somebody, on J.J. Stokes. T.O. spat on somebody during a game. They got big fines. They didn't get suspended past being ejected for that game. So I think that's likely what the NFL does. But if you're Roger Goodell and Troy Vincent, you really want to send a message. This is such a high-profile incident. I mean, this is before the first snap from scrimmage in the first game of the season on Thursday night when everybody across the country is tuned in. So everyone saw what happened. Now all eyes are on the NFL office to see what they do. If you want to send that message, suspend them for another game or two. I don't think they will, but that's what I would do if I was Roger Goodell.
What are you looking to see from this Tennessee Titans offense? We've talked, not the offense, but the defense. We've talked about the offense so much, but we understand that this defense needs to be better than what they were last season. It's unfortunate for them that the offense put them in a lot of bad situations, but yet still they were not the defense. And I know a lot of it comes from them not being able to stop the run. So is that what you want to see from this defense, that they can stop the run and make Denver one-dimensional? Because I think we're talking about Denver as if they are this offensive juggernaut, which they are not. They're a good team, but they're not the team that can put up 30, 40 points a game. They're a good team, a young team, but they're not one of those teams. Do you want to see the Titans establish stopping the run first?
Yeah, D-May. So I think that's a big key in this game. Two things that I want to see from the Titans defense. I want to see Jeffrey Simmons be a stud. I want to see Jeffrey Simmons be the player that everyone knows that he can be. Be a force in the middle. Be a run stopper. Be a guy who gets in the quarterback's head because you're at least getting pressure around the quarterback. The second thing I'd like to see, because we know the Titans don't have a proven pass rusher that can get to the quarterback, show me some creativity on how you're going to affect the quarterback in this game. How are you going to affect Bo Nix? This could be sending blitzes from different spots. It could be disguising coverages really well where you get him guessing. But I really want to see some coaching, some creativity defensively to mask a problem for this Titans defense. You know, last night, the difference in the game probably for the Cowboys was not having Micah Parsons. I mean, how many of those Jalen Hurts runs where he escapes pressure, how many don't happen if Micah Parsons is back there getting to the quarterback or getting there a little bit quicker? That was a big difference in the game. The Titans don't have Micah Parsons. They don't have anyone who's a proven pass rusher, so they're going to need to get creative throughout the season. I want to see that. So two things. Jeffrey Simmons, I want to see him play really well and lead, and I want to see the Titans get creative in how they affect Bo Nix in this passing game.
Now, T'Vondre Sweat can't play as much as he normally plays because last season he was one of the highest ranked defensive linemen in regards to percentages of downs he played, and he played a lot being a big fella. But if he can't play as much this game, what do you need to see that front do, or who do you expect to step up?
Well, one is Jeffrey Simmons. And again, I think, too, it's going to be by committee. I mean, I don't know that there's one player that I'm circling and saying, okay, this guy, I want to see something from this guy, and I want to see him step up this year. And I think when you draft T'Vondre Sweat, you kind of know, like, I mean, the guy's, you know, close to 400 pounds or whatever he was when they drafted him. Like, he's a spot guy who is a wrecking ball and a force when he plays. But he's not going to be an every down guy, right? I don't think that was ever really the expectation. So, yeah, he's going to be limited, but I think that's a spot where even when the Titans draft him, they know, hey, this guy's not an every down type player. So, I mean, I really think it comes down to Jeffrey Simmons going above and beyond what he's been for this season. If the Titans are going to surprise defensively, Jeffrey Simmons has to be better, and I think they're going to have to be super creative in how they scheme things to blitz the quarterback, to have games up front, to do something in how they disguise to make it difficult on opposing quarterbacks. If not, I just don't see where that pass rush is going to come from. Maybe someone steps up and surprises, but I don't see where it's coming from.
Chad Withrow is with us. Hot mic with Hutton and Withrow. Chad, I saw some non-Tennessee experts say this in the wake of Tennessee looking good with their new quarterback and UCLA looking very poor with their new quarterback, that Tennessee is going to come out ahead on this swap, which didn't look like on paper it had a chance to do. Where do you fall on that theory?
So, look, I think Tennessee is going to come out way ahead. I mean, if we're just looking at based on one game, right, and it's one game, so it's a small sample size. We all know that, right, Willie? But it's also Nico Yamaleava traded down from a teammate perspective in the talent department, right? So all of this is going to be skewed. I think whoever was the quarterback at Tennessee was going to have more success because Tennessee has way better players than UCLA has. So Nico looked bad, but Nico has no one blocking for him. I think it was the highest pass rush rate in all of college football. I saw a stat today. Was Utah getting to Nico consistently in that game? And keep in mind, one of the things his father said was that Tennessee didn't protect him well enough.
Yes.
And their offensive
said it
line
repeatedly.
wasn't good enough. And so he goes to a place that has even more unproven offensive linemen and is way worse than the offensive line. It has way worse options at receiver and a way worse running game. None of that makes sense. So, look, I think Joey Aguilar, he's 1 for 1. He was high in the first quarter. He looked a little nervous. But once he settled in through the great deep ball to Braylon Staley, he looked good. He looked under control. Willie, he looked like a guy who's almost 25 years old. And that's what he is. He looked very mature. And like the moment
is he older than Max Johnson, Brad Johnson's son? It's pretty close.
I saw Max Johnson in uniform. I thought he was a quarterback quality control coach.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, oh, that's cute. They let him wear shoulder pads. I'm serious. I couldn't believe he was still in college. When I saw him checking the game, I'm like, oh, they're letting him still wear pads. That's nice. I mean, Joey Aguilar is older than Cam Ward. You know, the 3 college quarterbacks in this state, Cam Ward, the quarterback at Memphis, and Diego Pavia are all older than Cam Ward. I'm sorry, Joey Aguilar, older than Cam Ward.
Yeah,
so
and Cam Ward played 5 years of college football. It's not like Cam Ward came out after his junior year, you know, as a true junior. These guys, they're able to stay. Well, the COVID rules helped, so I think this is going to go down. But Chad, can you imagine playing like? Look, it's even, but imagine being at 24 for your senior year as opposed to 21 or 22, which most kids are. Like that's a huge difference, and so many people have taken advantage of it, especially these quarterbacks on the college level.
Well, I mean, Willie, think back to your college career. You could have been the leading scorer at Wofford in your 7th year of college. After you
I
left
feel
Vanderbilt.
like it. Yeah, I feel like it. Hit the
You know,
portal.
think of all
Graduate
all the guys
school.
who didn't get much run, at one place and have gone to other places, or vice versa. It's crazy to think about how old these guys are now, but it's just reality of college football. But look, Joey Aguilar, he's in a better system for quarterbacks. He's in an offense that scores more points. Josh Heupel, regardless of the track record of producing NFL talent at quarterback, his quarterbacks have a lot of success in college. They got a better offensive line. They got better supporting players. It's shocking again to see how badly Nico traded down, considering the situation that he was in. And yeah, I mean, I think through one game, it looks like Tennessee got the better end of it. But do I think that Joey Aguilar is more talented than Nico Yamaleava? No. I think Nico has better physical, natural talent, and maybe that talent rises above at some point this season. But man, oh man, did Utah just manhandle UCLA on Saturday night.
What are you looking for in the Virginia Tech Vanderbilt game? This is clearly a swing game on Vanderbilt's schedule. It's one they got last year at home. It was a very dramatic game, and it was out of nowhere. That I didn't know anything about Diego Pavia. I knew he was going to be the starter. I just didn't know what to expect. When I saw him on the field, I was blown away. That was the first chapter there. This is a really interesting test because Vanderbilt really needs this game.
I think about a year ago when, Vandy beats Alabama, and I think it was the very next week they went on the road and beat Kentucky. Or
Correct.
very close after that, if my time is right on that. That to me showed that, okay, in the first game, I just thought it was a big surprise. No one knew what Vandy was going to be offensively. No one really knew what Diego Pavia was going to do. And they shocked Virginia Tech for 3 quarters. Virginia Tech rallies, but Vandy holds on to win the game. But as the year went on, even though people knew what they were going to do, they were still effective doing it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in this game. Virginia Tech's not going to be surprised this go around, right? I mean, they know exactly what to expect because they saw it a year ago. So how much does that change the start of this game? And I'll say this too. I know way more. I think Diego Pavia has proven himself more than Kyron Drones at Virginia Tech. He was 42% completion percentage with 2 picks against South Carolina. He looks like a guy who can run really well right now, and he's not a good passer. So I think that's the key, is if Kyron Drones can be a more accurate passer, I think Virginia Tech is going to have some good luck in this game. But if not, I think Vandy's defense is good enough. And we all know that Pavia and Stowers and that offense is good enough. I think Vandy's got a great shot to go on the road and pull a slight upset.
How bad is it in your mind at Alabama? We know the rhetoric is going to be off the charts, right? When something like that happens, it goes without saying. The Feinbaum clips, everything, they're going to go crazy. Well, do you think their talent is that questionable, or was that just a bad game?
Willie, I know that you're like me and that you're a little bit old school and like little things really festering and bothering you in terms of competition, or things that you see are just things that are just non-negotiables. I get really mad when I watch that footage of the linebacker and the defensive lineman for Bama coasting and then having to kick it into high gear because they were expecting someone else to make the play. I get really mad when I see all their players holding cell phones during actual, fully padded warm-ups during the games. That stuff doesn't happen under Nick Saban. I just don't think that it does. I think it's a culture shock for Kalen DeBoer. He's used to running programs in different parts of the country. That's not Alabama football. I think he's a really good football coach. I think he wins a lot pretty much anywhere he goes. It just doesn't feel like a fit right now. I mean, Bama's not Bama. I just don't think it's special to beat them anymore. They lost 4 games to unranked teams in a season in 1 game. I mean, people are still storming the field, and I understand it from the Florida State perspective, given they were 2-10 a year ago. But man, oh man, I mean, it's a really good win if you're able to beat Bama. But I think the mystique is dead, and that feeling of beating Nick Saban in Alabama, it's totally different now if you're able to beat Kalen DeBoer.
Chad Withrow of Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow on Outkick joining us here on D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick as he does every Friday. Chad, great stuff as always, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Yeah, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You as well. Chad Withrow on the program, 615-737-1025. We still have 2 critical Titans questions left to answer because we missed out on Labor Day. So we're going to double up today. We will get to the 9th of those 10 questions. Coming up next, 615-737-1025. If you want a pair of tickets to see Nelly at the Ascend Amphitheater on Tuesday, September 16th, be caller number 4 right now at 615-737-1025, and you will win a pair of tickets to see Nelly at the Ascend Amphitheater on Tuesday, September 16th. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. Is it going to be another block punt for a touchdown? D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. We are live out at Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, 329 Donaldson Pike. Come on out and see us tonight. Chiba Hut is hosting its Jeep Glow Party from 8 to 11 p.m. I should say. Live music, drink specials, free raffles, trophies for the best glowed out Jeeps, and all of the good vibes here at Chiba Hut, located at 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville. We have 2 more of our critical Titans questions to answer or to respond to. We will do one now. We will do one, I think the one you're all waiting for, at the end of the show. Also, Ask D-Mace coming up at 5 o'clock. So if you have a question for Derek, you can text it in right now at 615-737-1025. You can also call or text at 5 o'clock for the start of Ask D-Mace. But Willie, let's get to our 9th of 10 Titans questions.
Okay, we have asked the critical questions from 1 through 10. Here they are quickly, because you can go one way. If they're 9 for 9 in a positive way, we're talking about one of the more improved teams in the league. If it's 0 for 9 the other way, could be another long year, and they might be on the clock by the end of the season.
Yeah, we talk about another number 1 pick.
Over or under 42.5 sacks allowed. That would be around league average, even a little bit on the higher side, but marked improvement. We all are skeptical that they can get under that number. Cam Ward, over or under 12.5 games played. Can they keep him upright, and can he get through the season missing no more than 4 games? I said under. Adam and Derek said over. Calvin Ridley, over or under 1,100 yards receiving, which would be just under 100 yards more than he had last year, knowing that he is the main man from day one. He's not dealing with DeAndre Hopkins. He is the number 1 option. I said over, as did Adam and Derek. We agree. He will get to 1,100. More combined receiving yards. The youngsters, Jim DK, Alec Iomanner, Gunnar Helm, and Bryce Oliver. Will they combine for more yards than the veteran placeholders who are in the mix as well? Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett, Chig Okonkwo. I took the youngsters. Adam and Derek took the veterans. Availability, L'Jarius Sneed and Tajay Spears. Always the case with them. Can they stay on the field? I set the over and under for those two combined at 17.5 games. In other words, will the two of them combine to play over half the games? I said under. I'm the pessimist in this group, by the way, for this year.
Really? Good.
Adam said over barely. D-May said over as well. So L'Jarius Sneed, questionable for game 1. We know Tajay Spears is out for at least 4 games, so he can play no more than 13. So that is one to watch. How many games and how much production can they get from Sneed and Spears? Titans sacks, over or under 32.5. That is exactly what they had last year, 32. Denard Wilson said, we left 21 sacks on the field last year. We didn't finish. We were there. We got to finish the play and execute. Can they exceed that this year, even though on paper it doesn't look very good in terms of the individuals they have rushing the passer? Where will they get the sacks? I say over. Adam is skeptical. He says under. D-May says over. Question 7, will Jeffrey Simmons be on the Titans the entire season? Or will it spiral, and will they shop him around the trade deadline? All of us said he will stay on the Titans the entire season, that they will not have the guts to move him, and or they won't get what they're looking for as a big trade value. But that could end up being a storyline. We'll check back with these and see how dumb we are for asking these questions in about 4 or 5 weeks. Every quarter we like to check on this. 8, will Cam Ward finish in the top 3 in Offensive Rookie of the Year voting? I said no. Too many other big-name rookies that have a chance. Ashton Genty is the favorite. Cam Ward in Vegas is the second favorite, second biggest, best odds to finish first to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So Adam and Derek say yes, he will finish in the top 3. I think we all agree that if he finishes in the top 3, that would be a successful rookie season for Cam Ward. Now to number 9. Will the Titans have league average special teams? Yes or no? And let's just give you the backdrop. Last year, the Titans special teams were 32nd in the league. There are 32 teams in the league. And if you thought the Titans were bad on special teams under Craig Aukerman, you were probably right. They finished 24th. And remember, there was the infamous Amy Adams appeared to behind the scenes have called Mike Vrabel and said, enough, fire the special teams coach. And he reluctantly did it. Remember when Ryan Stonehouse got his knee torn up, they blew the game against the Colts. You thought it couldn't get any worse than that. Oh, let me tell you what happened last year. It was way worse. By FTN Football Almanac, 2023, the year that they fired the special teams coach in season, they were basically 2% below the league average in overall special teams. Not great, 24th in the league out of 32. Last year, 8.4% below average on special teams. 32, and it wasn't even close. 31 was nowhere close. They were by far. And this is how bad it was. Nick Folk had a really good year. He almost didn't miss a field goal. And even with his production, they still were a distant last with coverage on punts, with very poor punting, block punts that went for touchdowns, all of the above. I don't have to remind you anymore. So, can they go from 32nd to league average, somewhere between 15 and 20? I would sign up and not ever ask any questions, right? But here's what they did. They kept the long snapper, Morgan Cox. Virtually everything else about the special teams is different. We know the coordinator is different. The punter is different. The kicker is different. A lot of the people covering the return man is going to be different. Jim DK is going to be in there. So what do you think, D-Mace? Special teams guru, Derek Mason, with one of his former special team coaches at the helm, Bones Fossil. How optimistic are you, D-Mace? League average, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic that Coach Fossil can get this special teams unit back on track. Their punting was good if you're talking about average, but then if you break it down to net, they were horrible.
Yeah.
They were.
In other words, they outkicked their coverage
exactly.
a lot.
Outkicked the coverage a lot. He averaged over 50 yards. I think it was right at 50, or a little bit over 50, but the net was 40. So he was giving up 10 plus yards per return, and you can't have that as a unit. You can't outkick. I would rather him kick the ball high and kick it 42 yards with no return than to kick it 50 and have a 10-yard return. So I think from that standpoint, I think they're emphasizing more not out kicking your coverage. That's why they went with the punter Schley instead of Sly. Excuse me,
Hecker.
Yeah. Not Sly.
Johnny Hecker is the punter.
Sly is
Joey Sly is the kicker. Yeah.
They went with Hecker instead of Stonehouse. Why? Because Stonehouse, his name fits his leg. He's gonna punt it through the roof and out of the building, but he ain't gonna give you no time to cover. So they go that route. So I think just from that alone and what I've seen in preseason, that area should be better. Now, they gave up some subpar runs in special teams, but luckily for them, they were called back. There were penalties, I think, on 2 of them where they had
in the preseason.
Yeah, in the preseason,
okay.
Where they had some good returns, the other team, but they end up calling it back because of penalty. But I think from that standpoint, the punt game will be a situation where we see it be much better than it was last season. Field goals, I don't know, because last year they were one of the best field goal kicking teams in the league. You chose not to sign your kicker back. You chose to go with the younger, stronger leg. He has a stronger leg, but how accurate is he?
That's
what we're going to find out. Yes, in this league, you even mentioned it, Willie, because last night they had some on long field goals. I believe they had a long field goal last night. 60-yarders are going to be the norm now. You're going to have to be able to kick a 60-yard field goal to win a game. So I think teams now are starting to, I want the strong leg kicker as opposed to the kicker that is more accurate if his leg is not that strong. Because a lot of games come down to kicking 50-plus yard field goals and not 30-yard field goals. So I'm not sure about the field goal situation.
Joey Sly, to illustrate your point, D-Mace, has 20 attempts of 50 or more yards over the last 3 years. So he's got the big legs.
Yes.
They trust that he can make it. You referenced last night, the Cowboys didn't even bat an eye. Sent their guy out to kick a 58-yarder. He got it there easy. Kickers just have bigger range than they have. But Sly's issue has not been leg strength. It has been accuracy. He has missed some bunnies over the last 3 years as well and averaged only 80.5%. I say only 80. In about 1985, that would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
But in this day and age, you are expected to hit about 84% or higher. You are expected to make the easy kicks. So that will be the question for Sly.
I think that's the only thing that I'm concerned about. I think Coach Fossil will get the kickoff return. I think that'll be different from what it was last year, mainly because of the rule change. Now you're going to get an opportunity to return a kick. Or if you can't, then you're going to get it, at 30, 35, somewhere
if it's a
around
touchback,
there.
it goes to the 35 this year. Last year was at the 30. So
exactly.
You don't want touchbacks now.
Yeah, so that incentivized teams to kick it in the field of play so guys can then return it. So I'm expecting, just based upon that alone, the return team will be a little bit better than what they were last
Do
year.
you think Chim DK survives and thrives as a kick returner? It's been a long time since they had a kick returner that you really felt good about.
Yes, but I think a lot of it does depend on the guys in front of them, because people only look at the returner when it comes to returning kicks. They don't look at the other 10 guys in front of them. A returner can't return a kick for a touchdown unless he has fairly good blocking in front of him. If there's not good blocking in front of him, I don't care who you put behind back there, he's not going to get the job done. So I believe the young man's going to be able to handle it. I'm not worried about the kickoff. I'm worried about punt. Punt is something totally different. Punt return is something totally different. That's what I'm worried about as far as the young kid handling the punt return duties in the NFL. It's much different than it is in college. Believe me, I know. So if he can handle that, I think he'll be fine.
All right. So do you have an answer? League average?
Yeah, I think they're above league average.
Okay.
I think they are above league average.
I disagree.
Okay.
You have no faith in Bones, Fossil?
I thought that was an excellent
I knew D-Man to be optimistic. He was not going to do Bones
argument.
Fossil like that.
If that's the right word for it. My response is similar to my response about the sacks allowed at the beginning of this questionnaire that we've been doing. I am confident they will be better. I think asking them to go from the worst special teams unit in the league by a significant margin to league average in one season is asking too much. So I think they will be better. They will not be the worst special teams unit in the league. Nowhere to go but up. But I don't think they make it back to league average. I think they make...
Even with everything different. They changed everything almost.
I think they make modest progress. But modest progress is not enough to get them back to league average. So I will say no. I think they'll be in the bottom third of the NFL. But I don't think we'll be embarrassed by watching the special teams unit. I just don't think they can make that big of a jump in one season. I will add this, however. I'm going to put it down right now. You can put this in the scrolls. It has been more than a decade. I believe it's been close to 15 years since the Tennessee Titans returned a punt for a touchdown. That drought ends this season. The Tennessee Titans. I'm not saying who.
Okay, so you're not going to say it's DK.
I assume it would be DK because he will be returning punts to start the season. But the Titans will break the schneid and will return a punt for a touchdown for the first time since Darius Raynaud, I believe, at the end of the calendar year 2011.
Can I tell you something? In order for them to get in the top 5 in kickoff return, they only got to go up 2 yards. Average 2 more yards than what they did last year. Now, last year they averaged 27. A lot of that probably was because it was put on 25, whatever. But they averaged 27 yards per return last year. If they get up that by 2 yards, they are in the top 5. 2 yards. But those 2 yards are a lot. I get it. They ain't just a regular 2 yards here. I'm going to throw you 2 yards and you move. No. It has to be average 2 yards more per game. I think they can do that, which puts them in the top 5. I think it will be the same with punt. Return, I think it will be the same with punt, because just think, punt, they were almost dead last in net punt you're at, but they were at the top in average punt yardage, but net they were at the bottom. If they can just get that up 5 more yards, which means just give me a little bit more hang time, they are in the top 10. So it's not that far. I know what you're saying. Like it is. It does seem like a tall task, and it is. But they only have to average 2 yards in one area and 5 yards in the other area, and that puts them in. It's not like the Titans were averaging, 15 yards return, and the next, the top 10 were averaging, 40, 35 yards. Then that's a huge jump. They were only 2 yards behind.
Okay.
On average.
Adam has got a bold prediction about a punt return for a touchdown. Do you have something along the same lines? I will tell you that I agree with you, D-Mates. I think with Fossil and with a complete overhaul, it is realistic that you can be average. I'm not thinking they're going to go high, and there'll be some different things. We might argue of what means average overall because there are websites that give you one number, a rank. So I'm looking at rankings for everything put into one number. There's a lot of facets of special teams. Sly concerns me a little bit, the unknown of
The
Sly.
accuracy.
But I am going to say yes. I think they can get to league average. And I will say this. The Titans will not have a punt blocked this year. That will be my measure. Just not handing games to the other team is half the battle with your special teams.
I say they will block 2 punts this season.
Now,
2.
that's a bold prediction.
2.
That could move you up in the rankings.
Exactly.
Can you imagine blocking 2 punts for a touchdown
They
instead
will
of
block 2
getting
punts.
2 block punts for giving up touchdowns? Goodness.
615-737-1025. Our 9th of 10 Titans questions. Can the special teams unit rebound from a disastrous season and get to league average? 615-737-1025. Also, if you have any special teams related predictions, you can let us know about those as well. But coming up next, it's Friday, it's 5 o'clock. It means it's time for Ask D-Mace. If you have a question for Derek, call us, text us right now. 615-737-1025. Nothing is off the table. Sports, life, love, weed.
Whatever. Whatever. You want to ask
Chiba
it?
Hut.
Subs.
If you want to ask me, call. Text it. It don't
615.
matter.
Let's probably stay away from weed if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, David, you're not here, but if you were here, you would get that vibe.
No,
You got
I
Chiba Hut.
totally get the vibe. I can see the walls.
Okay. 615-737-1025. Your questions for Derek are on the way. Coming up next, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
If your accident was months ago, you have nothing to lose by calling Law Tigers. Insurance companies want to pay out as little as possible, or frankly, nothing at all. Law Tigers make sure you get the compensation you deserve and doesn't get paid until your case has been settled. They understand how much your bike gives worth to you, so they will help you get it all repaired or better yet replaced. Law Tigers is the resource the motorcycle community turns to when in need. So whether it's to support you at an event, or if they see you broken down on the side of the road with that sad face of yours, you may be crying, you may not be crying, you may be on the phone, and lo and behold, there is Law Tiger. So if you're on the phone, you need to call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is powered by Freeman and Houston. You can find them located in Nashville at 2126 21st Ave South. That's Law Tigers, Tennessee's motorcycle lawyers.
He played 15 years in the NFL.
Quick throw. Touchdown, Derek Mason.
He had over 12,000 receiving yards.
Midfield, and there he goes. 80 yards for the touchdown.
And now you can ask him anything. Have a question about football or life? Now's your time to ask D-Mace.
We'll welcome you in.
Now, D-Mace on 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is time for Ask D-Mace on D-Mace, Bingen and Donick, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We are live out at Sheba Hut, 329 Donaldson Pike. Come on out and see us. It'll put you in the right frame of mind to start your weekend. But it is time for Ask D-Mace. So if you have a question for Derek, call us, text us, 615-737-1025. Let's go to our phone line and start with our friend Hair Metal Henry. Henry, thank you for calling. What's your question for Derek?
Well, I'm sitting here looking at my radio dial, and it says D-Mace, Vin Win, and Donick. So welcome to the show, Adam Vin Win.
I like that.
You guys are in a great spot. I would actually come down there, but I think my van is already spaced out as it is with the Vin Win. And Dawn, the owner there, she's awesome. Dawn, if you're listening, Henry and Laura say hey. All right, so I'm going to do something a little unprecedented. I'm going to ask Willie to answer the question as well. The three of us are relatively close in age, mid to low 50s. So if you guys could bring back anything from the glorious 70s or 80s, what would it be? For me, it's lawn darts. There's a lot of people in this world, especially on social media, that need to feel the pain of getting hit in the head with a lawn dart. What do you guys say?
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you. I don't want to hurt anybody, Henry. Oh, my goodness. What could I bring back? You know what I would bring back, and I just thought about this. Kids need to bring back putting, crushing up beer cans and putting it on the back of their tire so it can make that loud noise. Or putting a card in between the spokes to make the loud noise. Oh, that was just epic kid stuff right there. Riding down the street, you and your buddies, y'all making the motorcycle noise with your bikes. Oh, I love that. Bring that back, please. That means I will see more kids in the neighborhood riding their bikes, and that's what I want to see.
I had the same kind of thought. I'm going back maybe even a little bit further before bikes. Remember the big wheel?
Yes.
I used to have the big wheel, and then some of my buddies, they tried to one-up me with the green machine. Remember the green machine? There was like a souped-up big wheel, but I was always a big wheel guy.
Did you have the one with the brake?
No, you got to take the brake. You got to get as fast as you can on the big wheel, and then just jam that blue brake and just spin out. That was.
Do you know anything about that, Adam?
Adam thinks we're speaking French right now.
Vaguely.
Do they still have big wheels?
I don't know. I had bought a big wheel, and God knows when.
I thought both of y'all were going to say hair. That's one thing you wish you had in the that now that you didn't have in the 70s.
I mean, hair, but that's a person. That's like, I mean, I can get here if I want to. I just got to pay for it, okay?
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let's go to Will on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunting.com. Will, thank you for calling. What's your question for Derek?
Will.
Miracle Whip or mayonnaise? Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Miracle Whip or mayonnaise on a burger. And I say that remembering this, that when we were kids, it wasn't like you had buns all the time. You always had loaf bread. Right?
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy called it a welfare burger. So, Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
Thank you, Will.
Listen, when I was growing
I've never heard that question asked before.
Yeah, me either. When I was growing up, we had Miracle Whip. That's all we had.
Okay.
My mom bought Miracle Whip, and that's what you ate. As when I became adult, that's when I got mayo. So I add mayo and a little mustard when I want to, on the burger, on the turkey burger. That's for me. Mayo and mustard.
I thought so. You are pro mayo.
I am pro mayo. I do not like Miracle Whip. Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
I thought mayo would have been a touchy subject around here after last season with the Tennessee Titans.
Not with us. With him, yes. Will Levis, but not with us.
People having Miracle Whip in protest of Will Levis.
People shouldn't do that. Miracle Whip is just. Unless you want to endorse the show, then Miracle Whip, you're great. We love you.
Matthew in Nashville. And if you have questions for Derek, 615-737-1025, call or text. Matthew in Nashville on our text line says, Derek, if you were getting paid $28 million to do nothing at your job like what Kawhi Leonard did with the Clippers and Aspire, what would you do with the money?
Same thing I did with my money when I played. Save it. I mean, what would I do with the money? Live like anyone else. Invest, save. Yeah, he's right about Kawhi Leonard. I mean,
That's a
whole
crazy story.
Yeah, that story is getting crazier.
Steve Ballmer was on SportsCenter last night, the owner of the Clippers, with Ramona Shelburne, denying all wrongdoing.
Yeah, he was like, we didn't know anything about it. We don't really want to talk about it. I'm not going to ask Kawhi about it. That's his business. But yeah, $28 million.
It was a popular
here's
joke.
the question.
It was a popular joke, by the way, to say, "Oh, I didn't know that Kawhi Leonard had 2 no-show jobs."
Do you think
That's a
that
good one.
goes on in sports that have salary caps? Do you think almost like an old college program?
Yeah.
In a get around the rules. The Patriots, of course, they've been known to get around the rules for decades. There were a lot of rumors that Tom Brady could get money that way. Remember, Brady famously would take less money, so they had more money to use for other players. Do you think that goes on in other sports more than we know?
I'm sure with marquee players, it may go on to an extent. But there's so much money out there nowadays. I mean, for you to, do something like that, it's like, why? I mean, you should be able to that's what you got collective bargaining for. That's what you got a salary cap for, is to fit your players within that salary cap. Now, here's what's going to be the dilemma. Because the rate of players getting paid is growing faster than the collective bargaining they do each year. Because they don't do it they do it every 10 years, basically. They get a 10-year contract and they go through the 10 years and then they re-up. Well, the way it seems like it's going, these contracts are getting astronomical. And I don't know, maybe it comes to a point where they got to reevaluate a lot of what's being done as far as finances, because the NFL, what was their deal with these? The biggest deal with what? 20 million, billion, something like that they got from a company. Just think, in the next go around, whoever's want the NFL as a partner is going to have to be double. Whatever they're paying them now, in 10 more years, it's going to have to be double. It's just the more, because people, you can't live without football. Nobody can live without. You say you can live without football. You say football is, what was it, 5 years ago? The whole Kaepernick stuff. Oh, football is going to end. Football is recession proof. It's just like the banks. Football will never die. Why? Because people love it. They love it so much, they will spend their hard-earned money, every last dollar, on going to games, getting streaming. The NFL knows exactly what they're doing. The NFL can hike the prices to $100, $200, and I guarantee you people will still pay to watch it.
The Athletic posted their average ticket prices per game. The Titans were 31st. Cleveland was 32nd, the cheapest tickets. The Philadelphia Eagles were number 1. The average ticket price, now there's a lot that goes into this, over $400 per ticket is what it costs to get to their game.
And their stadium was packed.
Yeah, it was.
Last night wasn't an empty seat in the house.
Helps when you win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it does.
Let's go to Eric on our phone line, driven by Wilson County, Hyundai.com. Eric, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
And you were talking about that. They said tickets last night were going for as much as $24,000. Now, would I pay that much for it? I said no, but I've heard that rumor, but we'll see. Yeah. And another thing from the 70s you made me think of is Weebles. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Of course, I remember that, which was. But guys, I do have a joke. And I'll admit up front, it's probably a groaner, and I'll make it the price is right.
Well, did you tell this groaner to David before you're gonna say it?
No, I haven't told it. The only person I've told this to is my good friend Kenny the mailman, so he's heard this joke.
Okay.
What do you get when you cross a bunny rabbit with a frog?
A hairy frog?
No, a bunny ribbit.
A bunny ribbit. A bunny
Yeah.
ribbit.
A bunny
Yeah.
ribbit? No, we're not taking that one. You got to come better next week. You got to come better. We're not accepting
All right.
that one. We're not
All right,
accepting
all
that
right.
one.
Okay. Yeah, that's part of the second really bad joke I've told. So anyway, my estimation is this. It's actually two quick questions. One is not football related. The other one is football related. The one that's not football related, I know everybody's talking about this. Of course, there's another Powerball drawing tomorrow night. What would you do if you won the lottery? Because this is probably one of the biggest in history. The other question is seriously is concerning A.J. Brown. He had one catch last night for 8 yards, and I've heard rumors a lot of people are talking about, I definitely do not see him finishing his career in Philadelphia. I think he'll play out this contract, but I don't think the Eagles are going to sign him to a huge contract. Hopefully, they'll get him more involved in offense. But now, it's just, they still won in spite of that, but just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Guys, it's always good to talk to you guys. Y'all take care. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. A.J. Brown caught only one pass, and Devontae Smith on the other.
And he caught it.
And Devontae Smith, only 3 passes
Yeah.
thrown to him, and he caught all 3. But they didn't use those guys very much.
Dallas.
They didn't need to.
Dallas did a good job in their pass coverage at locking those guys up, and they made Philadelphia one-dimensional. Unfortunately for them, it was Jalen Hurts that killed them running the football. The money first. I come to work. That's what I would do. Seriously, I'll come to work, and I wouldn't tell y'all I won, but I would come to work, and I would continue to work. Man, I enjoy my job. I really enjoy. Now I may be taking more vacation days.
T-Mace is living the life. First of all, he's got a job that he doesn't have to do anything. He gets paid $24 million.
Exactly.
And now he wins the lottery on top of that.
Here's what
He's living the
here's
life.
what I'm hoping, Derek. If you were to win Powerball, here's what I'm hoping. You know how before every season the quarterback buys his offensive lineman these lavish gifts? You would be buying everybody at the station a lavish gift of some kind.
Of course, I would take care. But we would be doing our shows remotely. I'm telling you that right now.
So you
all
build a
3 of
studio.
us.
You
Yeah.
build a
all 3 of us.
state-of-the-art studio.
No, we would be traveling.
Oh.
Yeah, we would just travel and doing our
So we
show.
get like a souped-up Madden cruiser, like John Madden?
Yeah, we just do the show from everywhere.
Oh, all right.
And then we're going all the way, all the games. We'll go to all the games.
Okay.
And we'll just do that, man.
I'd sign up for that.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would
Okay.
continue to work, man. I look at stuff like that different, and because it's like I always thought like when I got in the NFL and I started making money, what did I do? One thing I really wanted to do was be able to buy myself my own cereal, like because when I was younger, we only got one cereal. Like it was 7 of us, so you got one box of cereal. Everybody, everybody eat cornflakes. Everybody. It ain't no cornflakes, Diggum Smacks, Frosted Flakes. No, it was cornflakes for everybody. So my thing was when I become an adult, I want to be able to go to the store buy all the cereal I want. And I did it when I became an adult and made some money. That was my thing, going to get cereal and DVDs. Those were my 2 things. So I thought that, maybe like I get this money. Am I going to spend it all? Do this? Am I going to go crazy? When I got my first huge check, the first one was big too because I had never made that much money. But when I signed my new contract, we signed the contract. I think we went out to dinner or lunch or something like that, and we went back home. We went back home and just
didn't go on a spending spree.
Didn't go on a spending spree. Didn't do anything. We went back home and enjoyed ourselves. Now we're in the process of buying a home, but a home is something that everybody strives to buy, a newer home, and that's what we bought. But outside of that, that's why I said if I won that money, I wouldn't tell y'all, but I would make sure I was set up so we would have remotes more times than not.
Okay. DVDs and cereal sounds like my Friday nights in college.
We'll be doing a remote from Dubai.
I don't know if we have the technology.
Oh,
I feel
I
like
have the money to get the technology, man.
But what would so let's say you've won all this money.
Okay.
Could you make, what would be the cereal, like D-Mace's
my
Saturday morning breakfast cereal
man,
on the shelves?
It would be
like
if I had-
D-Mace Flakes.
It would be a mix between Lucky Charms and Captain Crunch Blueberry.
Okay, so you got your formula. What do we call this, Adam? What would be our marketing plan?
Ooh, that's a good question. I thought I thought you were coming dangerously close to the cereal that the Kelsey brothers made, which was a combination of Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Reese's Puffs.
No, that sounds nasty, man.
I'm intrigued.
Just give
I'm
me
intrigued.
Captain Crunch mixed with Lucky Charms, put them together. You have your perfect cereal.
Okay, so
With
some
some almond milk.
marshmallows. Yeah. Okay.
We'll think of a name during the break. If
And
you
what
have
was the first one? What was his first question?
about AJ Brown.
Oh, no, I'm not
Yeah.
worried about A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown be fine. He'll catch close to 100 balls. He'll have over 1,200 yards. He'll have close to 10 touchdowns. But he's right. He will not retire a Philadelphia Eagle.
615-737-1025. We see your phones. We'll get to them next. If you have a question for Derek, 615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. We'll also take suggestions for Derek's cereal if he were to create one with all of his Powerball winnings. 615-737-1025. We are live at the Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, 329 Donaldson Pike. Come out and see us. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
down, good Lord. Baby got 'em open all over town.
D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025 the game. We continue. Ask D-Mace. You know I love some Blackstreet.
D-Mace has made some good choices with the Friday DJ selections. He's gone 90s. This particular one is really strong.
I do love Blackstreet.
Go.
Shout out Teddy Riley. I went to school with his daughter,
There we
DJ
go.
Riley. So big fan
She was a
of
DJ?
Blackstreet. She was not a DJ. She might be a DJ.
She might be a DJ now.
But she wasn't at the time. She was a little too young for that. By the way, Taylor on our text line suggested Mason Munch
Oh, I
as
like
the name
that.
of your cereal.
I like
And has even
Hey, can you send me
I
that?
will-
Oh,
yes.
my goodness.
We got to tweet that.
They got to
Yes.
spell my name right.
Yes.
They got to spell my name right.
Yes. Well, you got okay, Taylor.
Taylor, can you?
Taylor,
put
you
two
have to
Rs?
redo that, but
Yeah.
it's
But I love it.
DERRICK.
But I love it.
DERRICK. And Derek will tweet it out, and we will tweet it out as well.
Oh,
but you
this
need
is
to fix it.
outstanding. I also feel like marshmallows with 8s and 5s
Uh-huh.
could be the way
There
to
we go. I like that. See?
And maybe like a little flaming tea, a flaming tea.
I love it. Man, I'm going to make that as my screenshot.
That's a good shot.
I like
Mason
that.
Munch.
Mason Munch.
I like that. It's fitting.
And Munch rhymes with lots of things, so you could have a good jingle.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a hunch. I need to have a crunch. Pour me a bowl of Mason Munch.
The jingle. We got the jingle.
Yes, something like that. I was a music theory minor in college, so I knew a thing or two about a
There
thing
you
or
go.
two. All right, Joey from Bellevue on our text line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. And if you have a question for Derek, 615-737-1025. Joey likes to ask questions about competitions we would do as a station.
Okay.
So Joey says, Derek, if the 1025 The Game crew was on Dancing with the Stars, who would win? Who would be voted off first? And would you consider doing the show if you were invited?
Ooh, man, who would win amongst everybody in shows?
Yes.
Man,
I'd beat your brains in.
see, there we go.
Connor,
Who's that,
Newton, ladies. Yep, that's
What's up?
Connor.
Connor, he's got some
moves?
sweet feet. I think he got some sweet feet. Jake may have some sweet feet. I don't know. I don't think Nick has sweet feet. I don't know about you, Adam.
What was your go-to touchdown celebration?
The
Did
Michael
you dance?
Jackson. Yeah,
The,
just Michael
the
Jackson.
Michael Jackson, he had it.
Yeah,
That was pretty
I had
good.
it.
You
I
did the
gotta say.
moonwalk?
No, not the
didn't do
moonwalk.
Just
It was the
spin
leg kick.
in the leg kick. You know,
okay.
so, I think I would win. I think Willie may come close second.
I need a good partner. I need a good teacher, good
Because
partner.
I could see Willie going back to the Travolta, just right. Dun, 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 dun. And that'll get people going.
If it's that, I got no chance. I need like choreographed, like fundamental moves that I could work.
You would have
that.
to paint the steps on the floor
Yes.
for Willie to
That's right.
follow in order for him to be
So
a competent
think
dancer.
I'm confident that if it was amongst us, I would win.
I'll tell you immediately who has the least rhythm. Chase, hands down.
Yeah, you may be right.
I don't know that to be sure,
Yeah.
but I feel like I
think
do.
Big Joe got some rhythm. I think Big Joe.
I
got
think
some
Big Joe
He-
has
he'd be a
some rhythm.
contender.
Yeah, I think Big Joe he'll be contender. too.
He's
Chase
a Carlton guy to me. Big Joe is.
Chase doesn't strike me as having a lot of rhythm.
Now, I've seen Joe. I mean, I've seen Chase. At doing some sporting things. So yeah, he does it.
Drew in Columbia, this is actually a good suggestion. Drew in Columbia says if you want to broaden the reach of Mason Munch, you should get Chris Mason to do it with you.
Oh, the Mason Munches.
So you could have C Mace on one side, D Mace on the other, have some marshmallow 8s and 5s.
Yeah, there you go.
The cartoon caricature of C Mace would be great with the long beard.
Would both of us be
With the
sitting on the front of
tatted
the
up
box
like-
with a spoon in a bowl?
Yeah.
Him with his Predator jersey
Yeah.
on and me in my Titan jersey. I like that. See, Mace, if you're listening, Mason Munches is coming up for you and I.
Yes.
It would be like the family of cereals. So the Captain Crunch, and then you had the different ones. You could have just different Mason Munches. You have C Mace on some of the boxes.
Me on some of the boxes. That's how we got to roll, man.
Taylor says he's going to send an updated image
Thank
for
you,
Mason
Taylor.
Munch as soon
Thank
as he
you.
can.
Thank you.
Weston Hermitage on our text line has a dad joke for us. What do you call a snowman with a six-pack?
Snowman with a six-pack.
An abdominal snowman.
I like it. Okay, I like that one. I like it.
Okay.
Better than Eric's.
That tops Eric's. Eric set the floor very low.
He has
the bar was very low with Eric.
He has two questions.
Yes.
I don't know if he knew that you have donuts on the table, so he wants to know what your favorite type of donut is. He also wants to know how much different this team would look if Derrick Henry was still here.
My favorite kind of donut, I love like chocolate donuts with frosting on the top, whether it's
You've got apple cider donuts on the table.
Cider donut. These are really good though.
I like those.
These apple cider donuts are good, but give me a chocolate glaze. I like the cake donuts. I don't like the ones that don't have no substance in the middle. I like a cake donut filling.
My son has a specific kind of donut he likes. He likes yellow cake donuts with pink frosting and sprinkles.
That's my dude. I like the same thing.
When we were on vacation last month, he asked for a donut. There aren't any Dunkin' Donuts where we are or where we were. So I said, I'm sorry, buddy, we can't find that donut, but we'll go to the bakery and attempt to find you one. And I did not give him what he wanted, and it did not go well.
I'm sure it did.
He loves a specific type of donut.
With kids, they are specific about certain things, and they don't want anything else.
Yes. Wes also wants to know how much different this team would look if Derrick Henry was still here.
Oh, wow. It's hard to say. Would they be a better team offensively? I think yes, because they would be a better running team. Will they be a better team overall? I don't know, because even with Derrick Henry, his last year wasn't good. I mean, his last year was good, but the team's last year, him there wasn't good. So I'm not sure how much better the team would be with Derrick Henry. You would tend to believe they would be better than 3 wins like they were last year. But I know the offense would be a little bit better, but how much better would the team as a whole be? Because, again, we seen Derrick Henry when he rushed over 1,400 yards, and they still was a bad team. They still were a bad team.
I'm sorry.
We have a new rendition?
Yes. Mason Munch. One bowl, and you're always open.
Yes! I love it. I love it. Send it to me, please.
I am going to send it to Connor for him to post.
Yes, Connor, send it to me.
Oh,
I
man.
love that.
That's great. Let's see here. Let's go. Slick also has a suggestion for your cereal: marshmallow pucks and footballs with oat C's and D's for the combined Mason Munch.
I like that.
Chris
I like
and
that.
Derek Mason.
I like that.
One dad joke from an unnamed texter. They say alligators can grow up to 15 feet, which is crazy because I've only ever seen them with 4.
You get it. I like that.
Took me just a second, but yeah.
I like it.
John with an interesting question. John asks if you think Josh Cribbs is Hall of Fame worthy. One of my favorite Browns players growing up. I remember Josh Cribbs specifically from an episode of The League. Did you watch that show?
Yes. I like Josh Cribbs. Josh Cribbs to me was a football player. That's what he was. He excelled at special teams, returning, more to be more specific. But he wasn't. It wasn't like he did anything exceptionally well on the offensive side of the ball. He was a gadget guy, but a hell of a returner. And unless you are, what's the guy's name from Arizona? Mitchell. What's his first name?
Brian Mitchell.
Brian Mitchell, or either Devin Hester, guys like that. The likelihood of you getting into the Hall of Fame or something like that, being strictly a special teams player, is very slim. It's very slim. I thought he was a good special teams player. I thought he was a really good just football player. But if you're talking about Hall of Fame worthy, he didn't do enough outside of the return game, I think, to warrant that. Now he was a hell of a returner.
Let's go to another unnamed texter who wants to know, Derek, which 3 Titans will have the most receiving yards this year?
Isn't that one of your questions, Willie? Or close to your question?
Yes, but the texter may not have heard your response.
Yeah, you may not have heard. Calvin Ridley, I think, would be number 1. Chigaconquo, 2. And now it's changed a little bit because now that DK is starting, before we did it, DK wasn't starting. Now he's the starter. I think it's going to be between Gunnar Helm and DK Metcalf. I mean, not DK Metcalf. DK Iomanner. I mean, Iomanner. Not DK, but Iomanner.
We have
Alec Iomanner. I think it'll be between those two guys.
We have tweeted the Mason Munch cereal box rendering. Connor has done the honors and put it on our X account at 1025 The Game if you want to see the rendering from Taylor of Mason Munch. And we need to partner with some sort of company. Maybe we can partner with that company in Murfreesboro. The Blue Raiders offensive line is working with Tease Nuts.
Maybe.
Your face mask looks like a nose piercing, D-Mace. It looks like it's going through your nose.
Somebody like pushed your face mask up against your face.
I mean,
too
listen,
much.
I like it. I think. Let me see. I don't see mine. I don't see it. Dang it. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Yes. I like it. Mason Munch, a part of a balanced breakfast. I love it.
Part of a balanced breakfast.
What exactly is
Hold
a
on.
balanced breakfast?
My nose is coming out.
If somebody like smashed, like you did it, like they took your face mask and smashed it into your face, but you're not in pain or anything. You're still smiling.
Because he's eating Mason Munch.
Because I'm eating Mason
which is
Munch.
part of a balanced breakfast. What is a balanced breakfast,
this
by
is
the
the
way?
key for the sugar.
I saw this all the time on the TV.
I feel like the key to the marketing was that you look at that sugar cereal and everybody in the building knows in the grocery store it's sugary. But you could maybe sell your mom on buying it if it had the label 19 essential vitamins and minerals. Remember?
Yes,
they always put it big enough. You said, Mom, look, it's got 19 essential vitamins and minerals.
That was a lie.
I don't think there's anything in there like that.
No.
Quickly, one dad joke from Justin in Greenbrier. What did the sushi roll say to the bumblebee?
I don't know.
Wasabi.
I like that.
Okay.
That's number one.
We're raising the bar.
Yes.
We're raising the
Number
bar
one,
on Friday.
Yes.
Ryan wants to know who you are taking in Michigan and Ohio State. No MSU bias, he says.
Michigan, Ohio State.
Michigan, Oklahoma. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was going to
Michigan.
say, like, isn't
sorry.
that game
sorry.
a few
You want
months
me to
away?
pick now?
I saw
do it.
OSU instead of OU.
Michigan.
Oklahoma.
I can tell you who he's going to pick in November.
I mean,
Michigan.
Of course. No, I
not picking
saw a
Oklahoma.
little bit of the Michigan game. I think their quarterback, their freshman quarterback, is pretty good. But unfortunately for him, he wears that jersey, so he's only going to be good. He's not going to be great. But I think Oklahoma is a much better team. We talked about Oklahoma yesterday with Hutt, and we talked about the quarterback, the system, Michigan, and do you trust your young freshman quarterback in a big game like this? Because they play in Oklahoma. They play last year. No, was it last? They played them last year, right? Did they play Oklahoma last year?
Michigan and Oklahoma?
Yeah. Did they play last year? I don't think they did.
I don't think they did.
But they got them in Oklahoma this year. And I think it's just going to be too much for the young quarterback. And then Michigan, it's not like Michigan has a lot of explosive players. They lost a lot from last year's team and the year before that as well.
It appears this is only the second time Michigan will play Oklahoma.
Seriously?
And it last happened on January 1st, 1976.
Wow, they haven't played in that long. Wow. I would have thought they at least played in a bowl game or something.
I think that might have been a bowl game
I
that
guess.
one time in the 70s.
But no, taking off my Michigan State glasses, I'm still picking Oklahoma to win this game. I just think they are a more talented team.
I'm hearing good things about this Mateer, the
Mateer.
transfer to Oklahoma. This is a chance for him to jump out there.
Okay, coming up next is Take It to the Bank, but we are also going to answer our final Titans question. And I want you all to get a head start. So Titans question number 10, the one you have all been waiting for. What will the Tennessee Titans record be this season? 615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Willie, Derek, and I will put our predictions on the scrolls. We will also wrap up the week by taking it to the bank. We are live at Chiba Hut Toasted Subs at 329 Donaldson Pike. Come out and see us. while we're still here, which we will be for about another 20 minutes. And then there's a cool party tonight from 8 to 11, a glowed up Jeep party. So if you have no plans for tonight, come on down to Chiba Hut Toasted Subs at 329 Donaldson Pike. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. The game, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you live at Chiba Hut, 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville, ahead of their Jeep Glow Party tonight from 8 to 11. So if you're looking for something fun to do, come on down to Chiba Hut Toasted Subs. They have been excellent hosts, delicious food. I'm going to have to hit this place up again, even when we're not at work. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You will too. Come on out to Chiba Hut at 329 Donaldson Pike in Nashville. But it is the end of the week, so it is time to take it to the bank with our friends at F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. So Connor Newt has stepped in for David James, but David has left Connor all of our results from last week and our scores. So Connor, take it away.
All right, we'll start with Adam. Well, I'm going to do my best here because I've never played this game, but we'll do my best. Adam, you had LSU to upset Clemson by a field goal. LSU did upset Clemson, but it was not by a field goal. They won by a final of 17-10. Alabama to cover against Florida State. They didn't quite do that.
They did not. They did the exact opposite.
Diego Pavia to combine for 3 touchdowns. He did not. I believe
he had 3.
Oh, did
right,
he?
Willie? Diego Pavia against Charleston Southern.
He had 2 passes and I think 1. Did he have 1 running?
I don't know. He doesn't have any explanation here. I'm just kind of reading what he gave me.
Okay, so
I will check that. I will check that.
He had 3 touchdowns. My prediction was that Diego Pavia would combine for 3 touchdowns, either passing or rushing. He had 3 passing touchdowns.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I did get that one.
I'll appeal to our studio up in New York on the results on that one.
Okay, thank you.
And you had Philadelphia to win by double digits against the Cowboys last night. They did not do that. They won 24-20. So David has rewarded you with 4 points, Adam.
Okay, I may have to protest for at least another point because it appears that David may not have counted my Diego Pavia prediction.
Yeah.
So I will be taking that up with the commissioner, but
won't be the last time we take something up with the commissioner.
Yeah.
All right, Connor, go ahead.
Willie, you had Ohio State minus the 1.5. They did hit that by winning 14-10 or 14-7. I'm sorry.
14-7.
Yes. Yep. Tennessee to cover the 13.5. They did do that as well. LSU to cover the plus 4.5. They did do that. And London Humphreys, former Vanderbilt wide receiver, a family friend of the Donick family, I'm assuming.
This is correct.
To score a touchdown. He did not do that.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
He scored. He had a TD.
I need to have these results in front of me. That's probably my problem. I apologize.
He scored against the Thundering Herd.
So you have
Donick 4 for 4 out of the gate.
Yes. So you have been rewarded for 12 points, but it is written with an asterisk next to it. David wanted to give you 11 for sass last week. So
I finished last in the competition, so sass has got to be there. The enthusiasm, the sass,
I get it,
is going to be my key.
Me personally, I'd give you plus 5 for that. But
how did Derek do last week?
I didn't do good.
The defending champ is not out of the gate strong.
No,
D-Mace had Nico Iamaleava to throw for a touchdown and run for one. He didn't do that. He looked pretty bad. Arch to throw for 225 and a touchdown. He did throw for a touchdown. Didn't quite make it to 225. Nick Marsh, Michigan State wide receiver, to have over 100 yards receiving. Did not do that. Pavia, 2 touchdowns, did do that. So D-Mace gets 2 points.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take it.
Okay, how did David do last week?
David had Florida State to upset Alabama, which he let us all know hit. Lenoris Sellers for 2 rushing touchdowns. He did not do that. Miami over Notre Dame, that hit. And Nick Vadiato, MTSU quarterback, for 3 passing touchdowns. That did not hit, so he gets 6 points.
Not much hit for the Blue Raiders.
Okay, so the order: Willie, David, me, Derek, after 1 week.
Yes.
Okay, David says, I did get the points for Pavia. Okay, fair enough. I will take the 4 points. All right. So here's how we're going to do it moving forward. Each week, one of us is going to take a turn coming up with 2 questions that we all answer. And Connor, you will represent David this week. So I've come up with the 2 questions. We will also make 2 individual selections. So let's start with the first common question. The Titans are at the Broncos on Sunday afternoon, a 3:05 Central kickoff. The Broncos are favored by 8.5. Will Tennessee cover? Yes or no?
Yes.
Willie.
You're having a Tennessee question. Who are they playing?
The Broncos. The Tennessee Titans.
Oh, I thought you were talking about University of Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay.
The Tennessee Titans are playing the Denver Broncos.
You was about to say what?
Newsflash.
Okay. I
Broncos minus 8.5.
Chad mentioned this theory, and I used this logic last night when I took the Cowboys and the points. I just think there's a lot of randomness to the first week, and so therefore I like big underdogs to cover, and so I think the Titans will cover.
Did you say yes or no?
I said yes, they will cover.
Yeah.
I say the Broncos will cover. Historically, number 1 overall pick, rookie quarterbacks do not perform well. Their teams usually get their butts kicked. So I'm not going to say that the Broncos are going to blow out the Titans, but they will cover the spread. So I will take the Broncos minus the 8.5.
On behalf of David Janes, I will take the Broncos to cover as well. I think they win by 17.
Oh, ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
The next common question, it is about Cam Ward in his NFL debut. Over under turnover-worthy plays as recorded by Pro Football Focus. Over under 2.5 turnover-worthy plays by Cam Ward in his NFL debut on Sunday.
So let's make the distinction for people that don't know. Turnover-worthy, it doesn't mean it ends up in a turnover.
Yes.
Correct.
It just looked like.
Think about the pass he threw in the preseason game against Tampa Bay that went right to the DB's hands and the DB dropped it. That was a turnover-worthy play. The definition by PFF: fumbles in the pocket, throws that are interceptable, and interceptions. Not all interceptions are turnover-worthy plays. Think about a perfect pass that bounces off a receiver's hands into the arms of a defender. And not all turnover-worthy plays are interceptions. Think about the same pass off of a defender's hand. So over under 2.5 turnover-worthy plays for Cam Ward on Sunday.
Wow. I say over, but I'm putting it like at 3.
Okay.
I'm saying over, but at 3.
Willie?
This is a key stat to me. This is, and if I'm going to say that they're going to cover, then I really think that he's got to keep that number under. It's hard. I would take one. I will take one legit turnover. I'd be thrilled if that's all he did. Turnover worthy opens up a can of worms here. I will say under.
I'm looking at it from this standpoint. If they get in the backfield and say they hit him and he drops the ball but end up falling on it, that's considered a turnover worthy play, right?
Yeah,
so
if he turns it
his own
over.
fumble. That's what I'm saying. He may not turn it over, and it may not be a pass, but it ends up. He
How
gets
do they do
sacked,
that?
the ball falls
If
on,
he's
and then he
hit
recover it.
from the blind side,
Yeah.
like it's not really on him. It's the blocker, right? Does that still count?
That's a good
turnover
question.
worthy, right?
All I am going off of is when PFF grades the game. Will Cam Ward have 3 turnover-worthy plays or 2 or under?
Okay.
So you are saying
I say he will have to go under for me to be right that they'll cover the game.
And Derek is saying over?
He says over.
Can I change mine?
No. A card
A
played.
card laid
Oh
is a
no,
card
no!
played.
You didn't guess. You didn't say yours yet. I see if you had said.
But you
yours.
did.
But
But
your
your
card
card
It's not done. All the cards
Your
hadn't been
card.
handed in.
Your card
All the
is
cards
down.
hadn't been handed in.
Your card is down.
You know how they do it. They
Look,
say,
you used all the loopholes to win the
teacher
title
says-
last year.
The teacher says, "Give me all the cards," and if everybody will give all the cards, it's like, "Can I change my answer?" Hurry up. Here, teacher.
But didn't they also teach you to stick with your first answer?
Yeah, you're right about that.
I will take the under. I think he has 2.
You take the under.
I think he has 2.
I'm surprised.
What that means you gonna lose the cover bet.
Who knows? We'll find out. I'm hedging my bets. Connor?
I'm with you, Adam. I think it's very, very close, but at 2.5, I think he goes under, and I think he has 2.
Okay. Quickly, let's go through our 2 individual selections. I will go first.
Yeah.
Steelers at Jets. Here's a fun stat about this game. The first time in NFL history that quarterbacks in week 1 on both sides are facing the teams for which they started the season opener in the previous year. Aaron Rodgers now in Pittsburgh. Justin Fields now with the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers will throw at least 2 touchdowns against his former team at the Meadowlands this weekend. So Aaron Rodgers, at least 2 passing touchdowns against the New York Jets. Detroit at Green Bay. Micah Parsons, highly anticipated Packers debut. Parsons will record at least 1.5 sacks in his Packers debut. Those are my 2 individual selections. Willie or Derek, who's ever ready to go next.
All right. For me, I have the Dolphins. They will mollywop the Colts. I got them beating the Colts by at least 13 points.
Okay.
13 points?
13 points.
Let the record show that D-Mace predicted both of these teams to win
the
their
division.
divisions.
Yep.
In his season predictions.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, who lost last night.
Well, damn, I mean, that was
they played pretty well.
They played much better than what we seen in Cowboys play.
Okay.
But I'm picking the Dolphins to
All right.
beat the Colts by at least 13 points. And I just had it. Oh, here we go. I have Geno Smith and the Raiders beating the Patriots. I have Geno throwing for over 230 yards and a touchdown.
Okay. Willie and Connor will have to be quick with your individual selection.
I will say that in the Titans-Broncos game, there will be a field goal by one of the teams that is 55 or more yards.
Okay.
Oh, that's the easy one.
There will be a
Willie.
55 or more yard field goal made in that game. And I also like the Bengals as a 5.5 point favorite against the Browns. Now, the Browns, they have a weird way of doing well against the Bengals, but I think the Bengals are they're gonna bust out this year. I think they're gonna have a really good year. So I like the Bengals minus 5.5.
Connor, quickly, your 2 individual selections.
Okay, give me Arch Manning to throw for 300+ yards against UL Monroe.
He better.
And 3 touchdowns. And then give me my beloved Wildcats to cover at home against number 20 Ole Miss. It's 8.5 point spread. I think they cover.
Okay.
That line was 10 when we did our underdog picks. It's gone down to 8.5. I like that pick.
All right, we have to get out of here. The Game Blitz with Parker Kelly and Connor Newt is coming up next. But before we do, we have to answer the final Titans question. We don't really have time for explanation.
Okay.
What will the Titans' record be this season, Derek? Go.
Oh,
We're writing this down. We're writing it down.
6-12.
6 and 11.
6-11. I'm sorry. 6-11. 6-11.
They haven't gotten to 18 games yet.
Yes, not yet.
That's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It is coming.
Willie?
5-12.
I will also go 5-12 for the
Okay.
Tennessee Titans this season. That'll do it for us. Titans at Broncos on Sunday afternoon. We will be back on a Reaction Monday, 3 o'clock on the dot. We will break down everything from the Titans season opener against the Denver Broncos. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you Monday at 3.
Be loved. Love on your people. Have a safe, blessed, and wonderful Friday and weekend. I love you. We love you. Peace. Thank you, Connor.